Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone.
Hello. I'm back.
Humpday Q&A.
I get to be back on the show again.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Let's. I guess we're just going to crack straight into it. As we said during the introduction there, sorry it took a bit of time. We had to catch up on a few things. But enter your quick questions in the chat with the queue, and we're just going to get straight into it. So, where's the slides? I'm sure we'll get them here. Hang on. Buttons. There we go. These
Not
are
right.
buttons.
Try another one.
No, that is right.
There you go. All right. Do's and don'ts. Be nice. Be decent. Be constructive. Yes, we're on YouTube, but at least it's not Reddit. Don't post anything that's adult, rude, offensive, or against other portions of common sense. Don't advertise or promote your product. We all know you need a job. Don't spam, which means don't put the same question in over and over. We do keep a list. Every time we see it, it gets put down there. If you ask it twice, you get put on the bottom twice. And harassment of any kind is not tolerated. You know, incels, bigotry, other nonsense. Failing this, you'll be blocked from here and everywhere else in the entire world because we know the owners of other things and we give them your name. Lastly, have a great time.
Indeed. Always have a great time. My name is Simon Lightfoot, Flutter Community Lead, CTO at Dev Angels London, and you can follow me on Twitter at Dev Angels London. Scott.
My name is Scott Stahl. I am a community leader in Flutter community, also organizer GDG Cleveland, and I sometimes write code under Good Dog Apps.
And we have a few other people with us. Let's welcome Randall. Randall,
how's the sun? Everybody. And yes, that's the sun directly in my eyes. I'm in a basement with a window that's 1 foot by 3 foot. And a few times a year, right at the time that we tape this, the sun is facing directly right at my seat. So it's like, what alignment, what horrible stuff. Anyway, hi, I'm Randall Schwartz. I'm a Dart and Flutter Google developer expert. That means I spend probably 1 to 2 to 3 to sometimes 4 hours a day answering questions in Stack Overflow, Reddit, the Discords, the Slacks. I am everywhere. That's what everybody keeps telling me anyway. And for this show, I am also the question magician, which means that I am watching in the live chat that we have while we're taping this show. I'm watching for Q colon in the front of your statement. If you say that, if you put that in front of your question, I will flag it so that all of us can take a look at it later. So I am the Q manager.
And we have another person with us. Danielle, welcome back.
Hey there. It's always good to be here. I missed last week, so I'm glad to be back. Hi, I'm Danielle Cox. I am the Flutter lead at a startup called Ardly. I'm also one of the organizers of the Flutteristas, and always glad to be here.
Always good to have you.
Indeed. So
we need to cover for me because I have to be elsewhere. Thank you.
And we also have another guest with us, Lucas.
Yes.
Welcome to the stage. There we go.
Hello.
I think I know this guy.
Yeah.
Feel free to introduce yourself.
I've been here a few times before. I'm Lucas. I am building the Flame game engine, and I'm also
just you.
Well, sometimes it feels like it, but we're a team of 5 in the core, and I think we have like 190 contributors or something now. So
wow,
there are a few people.
Wow.
And I'm also a Flutter and Dart GD now, actually. So
nice.
Well, congratulations on that.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
He's also rather tall.
Not for Sweden, but yeah.
Point.
Not
I was going
to say, not even compared to all the Lucases, he's not that tall.
Yeah, true. The Lucases in the Flutter community, they tend to be very tall.
Yeah. Everybody else is about the same height except for the Lucases. They're like all over the place. I would be, last week I was rocking my Flutter and Friends shirt representing. Unfortunately, I didn't know you were coming, but also Michigan DevFest 2023 is this weekend. So I wanted to give them a plug. Going to be there myself. Been going there for a little while. And fortunately for me, this is going to be a new one. I am not organizing and I'm not speaking, so I might actually get to see a talk.
Wow.
I think that'll be a first.
The amount of times I've been to conferences now, and I'm either a speaker or organizer, and at some point I'm like, one day I'd like to see a talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's for those who haven't been organizers or speakers, you don't know how many times things go wrong and people are in a scramble. You know, other speakers have their equipment die and need to borrow something, you know, microphones die, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I'm in exactly the same situation as you, actually. I'm going to the Stockholm Dev Fest on Saturday, and
oh, nice.
I'm not speaking either. It'll be fun.
So we'll fix that with the next Flutter and Friends.
But what's happening before Flutter and Friends? I'm sure you're here to talk about.
Yes. So actually, on do we have a slide for that? Maybe. There we go. Awesome. So next weekend, 8th to 10th of December, we're gonna have a game jam with Flame, and we usually have this every year around this time, or well, it was around this time last year at least. And in the game jam, you can you don't have to have any experience at all. You will have fun anyways, and you can join a team. You don't even have to know coding. Actually, you can always do sound effects or art, or just plan the game and stuff like that. Yeah,
exactly. People join teams and
exactly. Yeah. Together. So you can. The best thing to do if you want to join a team is to join our Discord and go to our Game Jam channel there. There is a little Google Sheets that you can sign up if you don't want to ask around, and then it's a little bit easier. And so it starts on Friday evening on the 8th, and then so I don't know, for the people that haven't joined the game jam before, usually the theme of the game jam is secret, so you can't start your game before the actual game jam time starts. So you get the theme on the evening of Friday, and then you have about 50 hours or so to make a game, and you'll have to submit it by Sunday evening. And when I say evening, it's a European evening. Usually a lot of fun.
So you pronounce it game yam, are you, or game jam? Because we say jam. The J.
I know.
And I just want to make sure that for those people that hear it at home, it could be, I guess, said either way, right?
It's my terrible Swedish accent. It's a typical thing to make mistakes with. I also have the problem with sheep and sheep.
Yeah. What's the? So you just said game jam. I was just thinking, what's the Laduni? No. What's it called? Not Humpday. You know this one?
I don't know where
you're talking about. I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna chuck it in. The original game jam for everyone. That's the one. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this. Let's bring it up on stream. Why not this one? Have you heard of this, Lucas, before?
I have not, but I haven't been in a lot of.
Wow, really? This is huge. This is like the biggest annual one. 54 so far.
Wow.
And and it is the same thing, right? Like this is just again, like I think it's 48 hours of just craziness.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, it looks like they've just finished one, so it won't be until next year now. If you're interested in this event as well.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of big game jams now. GitHub is also hosting one that is quite big. And for the people that was it last year? Or was it 2 years ago? Flutter had the puzzle jam.
Yes, yeah. Had the puzzle Flutter puzzle challenge.
Mm-hmm. And that was also fun. So if you have any questions about the game jam, feel free to ask them. And I guess we have some links for it too that we can put in the chat.
Yes,
we
do.
The prizes and who gets stuck judging.
Oh yeah, so we have 5 people judging. It's me and Henan and Eric, Sanardo, and Luan and Jochum. So the core team of Flame. So we won't be writing any games. It'll be almost a little bit of a cheating, I guess.
You said cheating, right?
What more? I think last year there was about a little bit more than 100 participants. So, and you have quite a big chance of winning something because there will be 20 dashes, for example.
I have never heard of 20 dashes in one place outside of an actual Flutter event.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there were 20 dashes in the machine with the grappling arm.
We stole the whole machine.
That's right.
Does the game? I'm going to say, how about the previous results of the previous years? Are they up online somewhere?
Yeah, so you can
people can understand, what it's all about.
Yeah, so they are. If you search for Flame on itch.io, I think it will come up. I can post the links too. And so usually, what people an important thing to know is
I've got it. Flame Jam 2.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and then there's a first one too. The important thing that people that are joining a game jam the first time, don't overscope your game. Try to make it as simple as humanly possible, and then continue to build from there. Because you only have 50 hours, and you will run into bugs, and like the last few hours before submission, people are usually running around screaming.
But it's the same as building software, right? You build your MVP first. You build your minimum viable product. You build what is fundamentally the basic principle of your application or what it does, and then you can build upon that. You can add to that. You can add features as time allows.
For sure. I think a lot of people don't do that when they're building software too, unfortunately. And then you never ship anything, right? Craig, you have been practicing so much on your live stream now, so you can build an MMO.
And the other thing, it kind of reminds me of at Flutter and Friends, they had a speed coding competition. What was it? Each person got 2 songs. They had to switch.
We had there was a lot of speed coding there on the after party. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a great time to do speed coding after drinks.
Yes.
Apparently, the Flame Jam links I posted are not correct. So yeah, go just search itch.io for Flame Jam. I'm sure you'll find entries and everything else.
Yeah, we haven't been very consistent with the with the naming of the jams. It's called First Flame Jam or something on the other ones. But you'll
stick some links on the official website, on the Flame website. People can see the results. That's a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. We have a new website now too, so now it's not Flutter anymore, which is a good thing.
Is it okay? I tell you what, we've been doing with our Flutter Research Conference and stuff, was using Dart instead of JavaScript. So you can still you can use something like Jasper, which has a Flutter-esque kind of UI toolkit, but you're still using CSS, you're still using div tags and everything else. So you get the best of both worlds. I feel is the mix between the two.
Yeah. I mean, we really needed to simplify it even more so that we didn't have to maintain so much on there, and we'll spend more time on the engine. So we're just running Jekyll there now, and but we're gonna put in we're gonna have live games running in there. So you can put in games in the tags now. Nice. From Flutter.
I'm still waiting for the day when we can get a static site generator written in Dart, right? Something that so you could put Dart script in, and then actually have it, so it's like Jekyll, right? You can have a static site generator, but actually built with Dart in Dart using Dart script. That'd be ideal.
Yeah, sure.
I was just looking at this for a second in chat, and I realized that I want to go to work for Matt. That's what they're doing at his company.
If you have read that XKCD about Ballmer's Peak, it's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And I want to jump in here before you get past that. You want server-side rendering? Hey, Jasper does that already now. They have 3 modes: either all client-server hybrid, or all server. So yes, it can actually do that.
There's
Jasper. We played with it.
Yeah, we did a couple of times on the channel. Actually, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go hide from the sun again. I'll be back.
I'm trying to, just trying to locate something myself. Get your questions in the chat with the queue in front, and we'll start going through questions in just a minute.
Well,
Lucas, if you would feel free to stick around if you want to, or head off whenever you need to.
Yeah, I'll stick around for a while. I can probably help answering some questions too.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
you are a TDE now.
Yeah,
exactly.
You have to earn that badge now.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
There you go.
They will take it away from me now after they've seen this one.
They're like, oh my gosh, it doesn't do anything. Great.
It's
like what was it, off the edge of a stage where they get like the hook.
Yeah.
Yank them off.
So speaking of Flame games, if you remember IO Flip, I found my pack of cards, so I think I'm going to do a video with a pack opening for my IO Flip.
Ooh, you haven't opened them yet. Nice.
I've not opened them yet. So
I want to share something that I found recently. So I was actually found this again, like I like taking the old retro games that I used to play and porting them to make them like current, right? So I've been doing that quite a few times. And recently I was thinking about doing another one, which is a DOS game. And I'm like, the problem is you don't have the source code, so it's really complex. So what solution is there, right? Like, it's not just like running a VM. You actually want to port it, right? So you either recreate from scratch. There's other things you can do. So I came across this really interesting project, and I just want to share it with people. I'll put the link in the chat. It's an educational piece, I think. But let's see if I can get this up. I'll make it bigger. So this chap on YouTube built this thing called, what's it, Seco? How would you pronounce it? Seco Parser? Chicho? Anyway, IBM tools for converting IBM DOS applications into modern operating systems. It's really interesting. He's got a video where he explains it, but he's in a bunch of examples of games that he's actually ported. But basically, the idea is that it passes out the original assembler and then essentially converts it into like C or JavaScript or whatever. And does like a very sort of explains it in here, but basically you can see here, like it will take like the sort of like outputs, right? So you can actually start passing it yourself and actually making some fancy things. But it's really kind of interesting the way it works. And then you can like host it on whatever front end. So I'm thinking about, wouldn't it be interesting to have this, instead of having STL HTML5 or something, have Flame, you know?
For sure.
So then you can take like any DOS game, use this, and do the manual fix-ups that you need to do, and then have the output in Flame. That kind of, or Flutter at least.
Or you do like the original roller coaster author, just write everything in assembly.
Yeah, but I just thought it was really kind of interesting project the way it's worked. It's worth, if anyone's interested in this kind of stuff, it's worth watching. Like it's kind of interesting the way he's approaching it. But yeah, anyway,
it's really cool. Must be a lot of work to do that.
Oh yeah, it's basically, I hate using the word transcoder, right? But it's kind of like that, right? So he's taking the original assembler, essentially converting into a high level language. You lose performance that way, right? But because it's going to take more instructions to do whatever it needs. But at the end of the day is you can then start doing fix-ups a lot easier. It still has references. And see you, Craig. And Craig's got
Craig.
Bye.
Don't bounce too hard, Craig.
I mean, the performance loss doesn't really matter, right? It's been a DOS game that even if you have like 100 times more instructions afterwards, you'd be
exactly
fine.
Right. So
a lot of these games take up less. They have a smaller footprint than a good 8K image.
So
well, I was going to say, I actually spent my Thanksgiving week kind of starting a port of my favorite game of all time, which was an ASCII-based game back in the day, Rogue. So
Rogue,
you've heard of Rogue. Actually, Rogue.
The original Rogue.
And so I'm actually working on a port for that, and I decided to kind of make a fairly straight port, and then work on bringing in object-oriented kind of concepts a little more, and then work on bringing like Flame in or something like that to actually, instead of being ASCII based, to actually take the idea, put a camera on, so you can play it on your phone or whatever, stuff like that. So I figure that's a really long-term project, and it gives me a few ideas of things I can make, maybe quick videos about, like keyboard input and like speaking. I mean, Craig left, but I going back to his render box video, I kind of used that to help figure out a way to make my ASCII screen, the 25 by 85 ASCII screen out of with the render box, so I get the right font size and stuff like that. Just playing around with it and stuff like that. So it's so I think it'll be a fun thing to do. But I'm going way back on my games.
Nice. Yeah, I've been thinking that I'm going to take a page out of Philip's book and do something that has very little graphics, like maybe Oregon Trail, or one of those other games that is just nothing but text based.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you should just get in touch with it. So that's another thing. Get in touch with the original makers of the games. A lot of people don't do that, and you may never know. Like, they might be like, "Here's the source code. Feel free to port it." Like if it's that old, like.
Yeah, they like to see it brought back to life.
Yeah.
Oh, I have the source code. That's why I'm doing pretty much a straight port.
Yeah, that's nice. Why. Obviously, when you got the source code, it's just 10 times easier, right? A good example. I mean, I know a lot of people do front ends for Rogue as well, right? Where they just do tile sets and then they just have a tile display.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I figure once I've got it done, then I can start working on, like I said, kind of inspired from Craig's, show that he's been doing with a zombie game, and figure out how to lay out stuff and do things like that. Yeah, I've got the source. I've got all 36,320 lines worth of source.
Not too bad. It's interesting. I remember writing a little rendering engine of my own for for applications, and it's like I was writing it, and at one point I was like, I looked at the line number. I'm like, oh god, it's 15,000 lines long. It just goes on. Like before you know it, you've written a lot more than you realize, right? It's worth for those that. It's worth looking at lines of there's a couple of tools that gives you the lines of code in your project, like plugins and various things, and we'll skip comments and stuff like that. And grab one of those and see if you can see how many lines are of code in your app, because you'll probably find it's more than you realize. It adds up quickly. Right, should we get to questions?
Sure. I'm looking at one here that looks like it's meant for Lucas, but I'm kind of wondering why. Whoop, wrong thing. I hate it when the chat moves just before you click. For the Flame engine and for individual independent developers, do you think targeting Flutter Web would be a workaround for the new Play Store 20 testers requirement? And my first question is, why?
This is such a weird thing. Have you heard about this new weird requirement?
Yeah, but I mean, it's so easy to get 20. I mean, just go on Discord or go on.
No, it has to be continuous. Sure, but it has to be continuous every day.
Yeah,
you can't rely on someone doing that every day. But again, it's for the personal, like you say, individual independent developers. It's not that, right? Like at the end of the day, is those people can set up an organization account. It can be an organization. That's what it is. It's not like this is as a person, right? Obviously, more work, but yeah. I
don't think. But do you think targeting Flutter Web would be a good workaround? I don't think they would accept that. They have to see that you are using the actual app.
No, but then you would have to put it in the Play Store. Is the point? You just have the Play Store.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't think that's a good workaround.
I mean, the workaround here is that you could use Flutter Web, but then there's a web page that people are going to. They're not going to be in the.
I mean, sure, it works, but you will. You will lose performance, and you will lose users, and you will, I don't know. People don't go to web pages when they are looking for games on their phones, usually.
Yeah.
And you'll have like browsers on the phone. They have all kinds of weird quirks and gestures and stuff. They don't work as well. And I wouldn't say it's a good workaround.
Yeah, we've got a I tend to agree. I mean, although to a certain extent, that's my entire app in my job is because people don't want to install apps on their phone, so it's a web app.
Yeah, I mean, web apps work great, but web apps usually aren't games. They don't have the same performance restrictions, and you don't have to slide around as much with your fingers on there, and you can't get proper full screen support and stuff like that, you know. And it can't turn it into this game mode thing that your operating system has underneath. So.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
All righty.
So, next.
Moving on. Back to the beginning. Have any of you used Supabase?
If you want, also.
What's that?
I was going to say we actually had a specific claim question also in there.
Let's carry on this one. We'll jump to that next.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you used Supabase? And I actually used it for the first time over the weekend on a project, and it was pretty good actually. To be honest, I was thinking about it. Like it doesn't do site hosting. So if you're trying to do like a Flutter web-based app and have like a database and backend and so on, that to me is a letdown. And because suddenly I'm like, well, now I have to go set up a Firebase console project anyway, and then do the hosting there. Then I'm going to be using the databases from Supabase. I don't know, it just feels a bit like it's a problem. It's the problem with like an integrated environment. If it doesn't do everything, then you're now splitting across multiple things. So equally though, I do like Postgres and the database more than Firestore.
Yeah, it's so much nicer to have the full set of aggregation tool that you get from SQL, right?
Yes,
I mean, they have introduced a few now, like you have some and stuff, but an average, but you have so much more power with.
It's not just that; it's also the fact that they've got extensions as well. So you got PG, I think you got PG Vector, PostGIS, so you can do proper like what's in the boundary of this geolocation, right? So yeah, I always find Firebase quite limiting. When you it's fine for like basic things, but you soon can grow out of Firebase and Firestore very quickly. And I think the problem they've got, personally, this is just my opinion. As by the way, just FYI, none of us here work for Google. We're a community. Always have to carry that. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think Firebase have a problem, right? When the reason people went to Firebase in the first place, because I remember I was on Firebase before it was owned by Google, right? It was actually a separate company. And the reason why people went there is because it was iterating really quickly. It was the Supabase of the day. Does that kind of make sense? It was able to really pivot and change things and add features without having to worry about user base of billions of requests a second, and things like that. Like they're not. Whereas on Firebase, where it is right now, for them to introduce and change a feature would be so difficult. Like, you got to imagine like just the smallest change. Like, we got to do all the load checks, we got to do the load balancing, we got to do a myriad of tests and everything else just to maybe tweak one little thing. So to ask them to add like these aggregation features to it, I can understand how they're not going to be very quick to get to add it. But at the same time they really need to figure that problem out because it's just driving them out of the market. Does that kind of make sense from a productivity standpoint? Like people are just going to move away because they can't do what they want on that platform, and it's that simple, right?
Yeah, and another point is that depending on what kind of how you're using it, but if you're using the real-time database on Firebase, it will be so much more expensive if you're writing a game, for example, than if you use Supabase. If you're transmitting positions back and forth of players, like you will be starting to pay thousands of dollars per month, even if you only have 100 players.
Well, it's the thing. I was going to say, at that point, like the other thing you can do as another solution to this, if you want to stay on like Google, is just you can set up a Postgres SQL, Cloud SQL server in your Firebase project. You open up, for the viewers that don't know, you open up console.cloud.google.com, and you'll see your Firebase project as a Google Cloud project. And you can just go in there and enable Compute Engine or any of the additional things that Google offers from Cloud. You're not just stuck with Firebase only. If you go in there and find Cloud SQL, you can actually create an instance of Postgres. On a paid account, it has to be a paid billing account set up on it. It'll be hugely expensive when you just use their default because it's a huge database cluster. But if you go to the bottom and choose like custom machine, you can go choose like 600 megabytes, one shared CPU. You can choose like a really, really low level if it's just for your little thing. And then see how it goes. And it'll cost you like, $20 a month or something. But yeah, you can't, nothing's free, right? If you want to host something online, free.
And then they don't support any real-time updates from that either, right? I guess you can build it somehow. They do.
They do. So that's exactly how Supabase works. So Postgres is the thing that supports the real-time updates using.
Yeah, I thought they didn't support that because that's an extension, right, for the real-time updates. Oh, okay, it's built in.
It's built in. The real-time updates they on Supabase have to be enabled separately because of their model, the sort of the way that they price and hook things up inside their platform. But no, it's built in. I mean, I've used it, so I know it's definitely there.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah. So coming back to Supabase, yeah, it's interesting. I haven't used their cloud functions, and I don't think I ever will. Their edge functions because it's not Dart. Right? Again, it's that kind of thing. I don't want to like split my development over a bunch of different languages, a bunch of different things. You end up having to redo the same thing multiple times in different language models or something. You end up it just at some point becomes detrimental to the speed of development. I'm interested to see if Glow from Invitae will solve that problem if they can deploy, because they're deploying to edge servers from. I can't remember which company now. It might have been.
They can do several, I think. You can.
Yeah, I can't remember. They're still in like early, right? But I'm thinking if they can do Supabase, then that's the answer there. So you can write your Dart code, it transcodes it into JavaScript, and then host it there. That's a possible solution. It's still not nice, right? It's still not perfect.
Yeah. They actually opened up a new Globe Discord today. To if you're interested to beta test it.
Cool. But yeah, I mean, has anyone else tried Supabase? No. It's really good. I'm intrigued by it. But yeah, don't think you just have to use Supabase though. I tell you what did trip me up. For those that are new, it tripped me up when I was looking at it. Is when you create a database in their system, it says you can enable row policies. I think it's like row protection policies, which is like fine-grained access to data, which is normally what you want. A row in a SQL database is the same as a document in Firestore. So you could then have each document be separate protections, not just a table, for example, which is a collection. Similarly. And if you enable that, then you have to put a rule in to say authenticated users can read the data, because by default it's just denied. But the thing is, because it's filtered on results, querying a table that denies you access, it just gives you 0 results, which really confused me at the beginning because there was no errors. There was nothing telling me it wasn't configured correctly. So it took me a while hunting around going, oh, okay, so the policy is restricting it. So I have to add this policy, which basically I think the rule was just true.
Oh,
interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Gary Montgomery.
Exciting.
Is that Gary from the team?
We'll find out.
All right, yeah. Okay.
Right.
Onward through the fog. We got one here for Lucas from Guess Who, Matt. I haven't looked too closely at Flame. Does it provide any resources for animations that are superior to what Flutter already provides out of the box?
Flutter.
I'm out of practice.
I'm the Flutter GD. That's something I should write. Yes.
Never get into that.
All right.
A year from now, I'll be giving a talk somewhere, and somebody's going to bring that up.
So in Flame, we have something that we call effects, and effects they're less code to write than animations in Flutter, and they combine really nicely. So you can if you get. So in Flame, we have something called components. Everything is a component, a little bit similarly to a widget, but they update each tick. So on all components are composable, so you can add a component to a component. And effects are also components. So if you add effects to a component, you can like affect its parent. So you can say like from one end, you can say, okay, you should move by 200 pixels here. And then you can say from another end, no, you should move 200 pixels there. And then it will smoothly transition in there. And then we have things like scale effects and rotation effects. And you can even have effects that are not even visible, but are somehow affecting your components in some way. So that is quite powerful. And since Flame is like continuously rendering all the time, it becomes a little bit less boilerplate than to write Flutter animations naturally.
I have a question based on what you said. In the example you gave, if you have an effect that says move 200 pixels to the right, and you also have an effect that move 200 pixels to the left, does it move to the right and come back, or does it stay still?
It depends what you set. If they start at exactly the same tick and have exactly the same speed, you can set either a speed or duration that the effect should move over. And if the durations or speeds are exactly the same and they start at exactly the same point, it will stand absolutely still.
So what you're saying, it doesn't like. So let's say halfway through the first animation, we then start another one. It continues from that point and goes back.
No, so if it's halfway through the so there are different. If we're talking about the move by effect here now, so that one moves by a delta from where it starts from. So if you move 200 pixels to the left, and then you add something halfway through that you move 50 pixels up, it will go like a curve kind of.
Right.
It's like running on a treadmill. The belt is going that way at, I don't know, 10 kilometers per hour, and you're going that way, so you just don't move.
Yeah.
Like hovering an airplane in a high wind. Daniel?
I was going to say, I've just been catching up on Craig's series where he's using Flame for the zombie game. And it was weird to me how the camera followed. You're talking about the treadmill effect. How when the camera was following it and he moved the background away, how it very clearly was moving the background away, and the guy wasn't moving at all. But when the whole background was there and he's moving, the guy's clearly moving.
That's a visual thing that you don't really realize what is happening.
I would have never guessed that would be that different.
It's interesting. It's like the thing is, if you had like 4 points on the screen and you had like your character in the middle, you'd see all those 4 points move.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it looks like, are they moving around you, or are you moving to around them? You know, like it's that kind of perception.
Yeah, and there was like I said, when he first did it, clearly the stuff was moving around the character.
Yeah.
And as soon as it killed everything, the character was moving.
This is actually this is a trick that's actually used in applications as well to get infinite scrolling and things like that. So you can reset your scroll offset to a new position, and essentially it's the same as like you're essentially going back to zero. However, to the user it looks like nothing has changed, and similar concept.
Yeah, we have something similar there with the parallax component.
All right. Moving on. Guess who? Matt. I'm looking to write a Flutter app that runs on Raspberry Pi, Simon, and provides inputs, outputs through the GPIO. Is there a good way of interfacing Flutter with CircuitPython, which Simon is now typing to find a web page about this because he's already worked on something like that.
Yeah.
Well, while he's looking, I do want to point out to Lucas that Matt did say very cool. That's exciting. It matches up nicely with the project I'm working on. I'll take a closer look at Flame. So.
This is the project that if you want to run, Raspberry Pi with Flutter, here you go. So this actually runs directly without X Windows. You can obviously just build, like, if you want to install X Windows, like a windowing system and Ubuntu or Debian or whatever, and then actually just run, Flutter run Linux or whatever it is, and build Linux, and it will just work, right? But this is quite nice because it gets rid of the overhead of the entire desktop environment. You can have a really lightweight OS. So this is called Flutter Pi. It's been around a while, and still going strong. Again, there's requirements on Flutter and its environment for particular versions of Raspberry Pi that it'll work with. But you should check it out.
Slightly related, there are some people writing a Dart Wayland server and client now, and then putting Flutter.
That's Raphael from London. Yeah, Raf from London. The London meetup was starting on that a long time ago. I think it's still around somewhere. But basically that's making essentially a embedder that lets you a Flutter desktop that lets you run apps inside Flutter as like a desktop environment. And you've also got the other way around using the Wayland protocol, basically. Yeah. Quite interesting. Okay. There's I started working on this notion of building a little operating system from scratch that will just run Dart code. So that's kind of, I still want to finish that off at some point. So that did just mean that you could essentially write, if you write a thin kernel enough to run Dart code, you could write drivers in Dart code, you could write apps, you could just write entire software stack in Dart, just see where it takes, see where it goes. Just as a stupid fun thing to do, right? But
you learn a lot from those kind of projects.
I've done operating systems, I've done custom OSs before, so it's not like, but it's just like doing it specifically for Dart. Should be interesting.
I remember when we did that in university too. Not for Dart though; it wasn't around.
You know, I finished doing goofy projects like that when I was in the military. When they made us learn assembly, I was like, never again. Not operating systems, not assembly. Nope.
I mean, most developers still don't even realize that the most systems that work in front of them, like the ones we're talking to now, their browse and everything still works on the same concepts from like 1970. Like it hasn't really changed that much, all things considered. It's got faster.
You dig all the way down, it's all JK flip flops,
right?
And Boolean algebra.
Right.
Alrighty. Next. What's the difference between value notifier and change notifier? When is it best to use either? Well, value notifier mainly is often used for primitives or individual types within a class, as for using for class members, whereas change notifier is usually for anything changing in the class itself. The class will extend change notifier. And if you have like a string, an integer, a Boolean, something like that, you can put it in a value notifier and your class does not have to extend change notifier at that point. It really, I guess when you need to provide the class or know when anything in the class changes, that's a good place for change notifier. But if you're really only tracking one or two class members and you never need to know about the rest, that's when I would use value notifier. Thoughts?
I tend to think of a change notifier would typically be more like business logic kind of related, where I know to tell you to go up, you need to go look at stuff again or update or whatever you've got to do. Whereas a value notifier is just watching for a specific change. That's and I'm playing around with one right now.
Value, I'd say so. Change notifier is when you put that on the object that you wants to dispatch the changes, right?
The class.
That could be the entire class, right? So if you've got some model object, some repo, some manager, whatever it is, it wants to be notify things of a change in it. That's a change. That's when change notifier comes in. Value notifier is an implementation of change notifier. That its only job is to hold a value. When that value changes, it notifies things. It's that simple, right? So you've got one is specifically about fine grained things. So it's a bit like let's say we had a list of products, right? Now that list of products itself might have some it's got its own custom. It's not like a list class; it's its own custom class that contains a list of products and has some functions to add and remove a product from that list and to do other things, right? Now you could put that change notifier on that object, and therefore anything to do with products changes, you're going to notify on it. However, if you just want to notify perhaps when a when the actual products list itself changes, then you might have a value notifier with a list of products. I think it's just the difference in sort of connotation about what you're required to notify on. Here's the key point most people forget is the notify system is just dispatches listeners, right? So it just dispatches to listeners with no parameters. So you can't say what changed. You can't say like it just calls function. It calls functions. You add listeners, you remove listeners, and you can notify those listeners. It's a really, really basic listable interface that they all implement, which means because there's no parameters, you can't tell what changed. That's why there's reasons to have like value notifier on a particular field, let's say, rather than just change notifier on the entire class of many fields.
Right.
Yeah, I think the change notifier is basically only the listenable, but with notify listeners, right? Doesn't really have much more.
Right.
Yeah,
And
you
so-
use notify listeners to notify the listeners.
I mean, honestly, if you go look at the implementation of value notifier, you'll see that it's a change notifier with a listable value listable interface.
Yeah.
I did a video on it a long time ago. I need to double check and make sure it's even still current. Yeah, I'm not going to go look at it. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell anybody to go look at it right now. It's like 3 or 4 years old. So,
but I mean,
also, I'm sorry, just real quick while we're on this topic, we have a guest coming onto the show for the live coding, although they don't know it yet. Robert has done many videos on YouTube, and now he can come on live and show us exactly what he means by this. So let me get you the link to come on, Robert.
And Robert is another fellow Swede.
Okay, but if we talk specifically with that one, with the value of Megan class, it's an identity thing. So if you just change the value inside the class, that's not going to notify, right? You actually have to change the class, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's.
So it's actually having you. It's the what are you doing? Oh my god!
Just Robert's
stop.
responses. That's all.
Sure. Right. The thing is, just to clarify on what Danielle was saying here, just changing the contents of mega class does not notify on the value notifier like this, right? You have to set the value property of the value notifier for it to notify the children. It does that. It does it on an identity match. So if it considers it to be identical, i.e., the equals and hash code come back as identical, then it will then notify the children, right? The listeners that it's changed. So yeah, just be clear about that point. Like you probably don't. At that point, that's the difference between having mega class itself extend change notifier, and then it can notify things that some contents of that mega class has changed.
Cool. All right. Good old Kevin Moore. Oh, you got anything more on that, son? No? Okay. Kevin Moore. Man, it's been a while since we've seen each other.
Oh, Kevin.
Yep.
Trying
to get together again.
In an isolate.
Trying to load data from Supabase in an isolate. Isolates have a real problem with any code that uses things in the main isolate. How do we get around this? Well, it sounds like you need to have isolates talk to each other, right?
No.
Yes?
No. There's you're missing part of the API that's in Flutter now. Root isolate token is the main thing you're looking for. Hang on, let me see if I can bring this up. If it loads. My computer is misbehaving right now, so I have to wait a second. So if you look, if you Google the apparently, okay, now it wants to work. Fine, sure. Let's just get that up before it disagrees again. Let me get this up. There we go. What's it called? Root isolate token. Whoops. This instance of root isolate token, do we have a should loop from here? See, this is bad documentation. There's another class that uses a root isolate token, which I've completely forgotten the name of. Background isolate. That's the one. Background isolate binary messenger. This is the magical thing. So basically, to use background non-root isolates, basically, this is what links up the plugin system. So you call this static method background isolate binary messenger dot initialize ensure initialized, and you give it the root isolate token. That is the token from the outside. You call this method in your isolate, and you pass it the token on the outside. I can show this. I'm sure there's examples of this. I know there's documentation on this. I've seen it. I've used it many times. Let me see if I can bring up the docs for this, where there's an example of it. It's really like one line. I could type the one line to be fair, but it's definitely not. That's. Oh. See if there's. Oh, here you go. This is a really bad example. I just Googled it and found something, but let me see if I can bring this up on the stream. Oh. Blah, blah, blah. I want. Yeah, interesting. So basically the idea here is that you get your instance of your root isolate, and then you can pass it over to the isolate. This is using spawn, which is just like old now. You should use isolate.run, if anything. Someone's rustling with something. You can always mute your mic.
That was me, sorry.
Isolate.run, and then you don't have to pass it over like this because it'll get it from the outside scope. So this isn't the great one, but the idea is just this. You just call background isolate messenger ensure initialized inside, and it should mean that then you can use plugins like here. This example is share preferences from a background isolate that's not the main isolate, basically. So isolate main here, but not the main isolate. This is just a secondary isolate that spins up with spawn. Hopefully that helps explain that very crudely. Go on. You're muted.
Go to the URL that I just pasted in private.
Oh, great. He's got a good example. I know this example.
Scroll down about halfway. This is an example that will be on the website shortly. This is from a Delta for the website. If you scroll down to where it says using isolates with plugins, wherever that heading is, it's about halfway down. Keep going, keep going. There, no, keep going. There, that's it, right there. It's got the code right there.
Yeah, again, this is again the same example we just saw. I think it was covered into that article actually. Probably where it goes from. But right. This is not using isolate.run. If you use isolate.run, it will maintain the scope of the local variable outside, so you can just use it straight on the inside. So you don't have to pass it over as the parameter. This means that you can take advantage of the fact that the parameter that you pass can be whatever else you want. But with isolate.run, you don't even need to worry about that. But that should hopefully that clears up the question. What was the question again? Kevin was trying to load data from Supabase. I'm assuming that's what works because they're missing the plugin. The other thing I'd mention is there is a Supabase. I noticed there is a Supabase Dart client on their official one. It's not the Flutter Supabase. There's another one, in which case you could probably use that from a background isolate because it doesn't depend on Flutter itself. Try it out. See what happens. Tell us. Let us know.
Very cool. And remember, folks, Simon will tell you he has a bad memory.
I do. I have a crappy memory.
For everything except code.
Apparently.
What's my name?
Who are you again? Right, come on.
All right. Any thoughts on Hixie's exit from Google? No, I mean, it's just, it's a very simple thing. Just chill.
We spoke about it at length last week.
I know. Let me finish the sentence. I could have been done already.
Go on.
Basically, the average tenure at Google is like about 3 years. Okay, Hixie was on the Flutter team for 6 plus Chrome before that. The question isn't why did he leave? The question is, wow, he stayed an awfully long time.
18 years.
18 years. So yeah, the question isn't why did he leave? The question is why in the world didn't he leave sooner? Because most people would have.
Yeah. So.
All right. Next.
And if you want our discussion on it, then check out last week's talk. That's what last week's show.
Yep. Do we have something like Rust Foundation for Dart or Flutter? Not quite sure what they mean. Rust Foundation.
I think that's like a community thing, or is this like?
We have something in the works that keeps getting delayed.
There is actually, just actually take a look at the Rust Foundation piece. It's actually quite interesting. I wouldn't mind talking to them. So we've spoken to a couple of people in the community and a few other things, and we're trying to sort out a Flutter Community Foundation, for want of a better word, right now, as a way of officializing things and actually registering as a charity and things like that, and actually getting it all sort of properly hooked up and everything else. But things take time.
Yeah,
I like this. This is interesting.
And actually, I have a little bit of time right now. I am between contracts, so definitely get on that. And here goes the dog.
So we can move on to the next one.
Sure.
Ever get the vibe that Flutter's drowning in too many widgets? It's like widget overload, making it real challenge to stay on top of the widget game. Okay, yes and no. So I say, hang on, it says continue, but hang on. On that first point, we were talking about this in previous shows. There's a tool called API Diff on Android. In fact, let me pop this up on the screen here, hopefully. Let's see if I can get some. So this is kind of interesting because I think so there's a web page where you can get this API differences report, and this is between API level 33 and 34, so it's a bit small. Anyway, the point here is it shows you what was removed from the API, so you can see, oh, this function was removed from this class or whatever, right? And this one was removed from that class, and so on and so forth. Additions, changes, and so on. And so it lets you keep on top. And so you can view here all the new additions that have taken place on this interface or whatever it is. And it helps you kind of stay on top, and then that take you to the documentation, and you can kind of keep track. So there's a few of us in the community that have been talking about this and trying to implement something like this for Dart, for Flutter, so that we can actually see version to version what the differences are. And I kind of like the idea of maybe getting this in Dart docs so that it will actually like optionally allow you to turn this on and actually give you a report that shows you the differences between the different like versions of a package. Because I think like again, it's one of those things of it's nice to know that they've made changes, but what are the actual code changes? And in this situation, when they add a widget, you go, oh, here are all the new widgets in the new version of Flutter, and you can go read through those docs, understand them, and move on, right? So I think never too many widgets. To come back to the question, never too many widgets. I don't think you get widget overload. I think it's more about understanding composition in the widget hierarchy more, and that means that you don't actually have to know the specifics, but you know the fundamentals. I think that's the key there. And then what's the second point? It was like, could you simplify using constructor attributes? That's where making your own classes comes in, making your own widgets. You can put 100 different parameters to your.
I think though he's suggesting the opposite.
No, I think he is suggesting that, like, for example, if we had flex, we don't need row and column. I think is what he's saying.
Right, and that's what he's saying. It basically uses super classes, but that comes down to is convenience, and also readability. Because one of the things that I point out when I'm talking about the flex, when you're using row and column, you can scan right down the code, and you know instantly when you see the word row, it's going that way. Now, if you're using flex, yes, it works exactly the same way under the hood. But every time I see a flex, I'm going to have to stop and check that parameter for axis vertical or axis horizontal. Whereas instead, all my constructors are one specific color, so I can blow straight down the widget tree and see everything. Also, there are convenience widgets like the spacer, because we used to just yeah, I know. Well, the spacer is really, it's nothing more than an expanded with a sized box shrink inside of it. But one day I got tired of typing that all the time. And so I made this stupid little thing called a spacer. And then Randall saw it, and Randall's like, you need to push that. You need to push that. That's how we got the spacer. but it's really all these other widgets are just a matter of using using convenience widgets instead of using the superclass like the Flex. The one though that we do kind of go back on and use a lot, that was a dog toy flying by. One that we do use a lot though that Simon beat into me is we never use container anymore, because containers can't be made constant and every single attribute you need except for one can be. So you can use the size box with a colored box and wrap it with a padding and all this stuff instead of using the container, and then that way you can make what you want constant.
Well,
constant.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out. I also wanted to point out though the fact that that's actually part of the power of Flutter is when we have these smaller widgets that do their thing and they do it well, and then you build it up that way, as opposed to having something like, because container I think is like kind of where you're going, because container has a bunch of attributes that you can put a whole bunch of stuff in. And it just like to Scott's point, it doesn't read as well at that point necessarily, and also, but it's not kind of the Flutter way. It's like text field's another one that has like way too many things in it. Whereas it'd be better if we could like pass those out and make them, built up in the normal Flutter way. Because if you ever look at the widget tree inspector, and you click to see all the widgets part of it. It's a lot bigger than you would ever think it is, and that's the power of Flutter.
I really want to give an example of this. So those of the people that come from web, you see like CSS, you have all your attributes, and you make styles, you make classes of styles. This is a grouping of styles. That's exactly what a widget is. You're saying that you take a center widget, you put a font size widget, you put this widget inside each other. Now what you've done is you put that in your own custom widget with a child. Now what you've made is a class. You've made all these attributes joined together, make this one widget. Now, wherever you want to have those attributes used together, you put that one widget, wrap that one widget with whatever child you want. And now you've essentially applied that. So again, it's about learning that the principles of doing that and understanding how to use and compose widgets together. That is the power of it, right? That is how you do those same things from other platforms, right? I think the problem here is that a lot of people come from a platform where you do have attributes, let's say, and then you get into the situation of saying, oh, why can't I just do this? I'm used to this. And the answer is it doesn't do that for a reason. So do the other way. Right? Anything to add to this, Lucas? I'm kind of curious.
Like his original question was that it is an overflow widget, right? And I don't think they're not adding widgets with a speed
overload.
That is, overload.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. There was not a lot of widgets added in the last version, and that was a pretty big version. It's but it would be very handy to have that overview that you showed before for Android. That would be really nice.
I think there's several ways of getting to that. I think there's this kind of thing of knowing what widget to use for what thing, and I think the answer to that is it's great to like learn that there's a widget that does what you're looking for already, but equally knowing the fundamentals of how to use a widget, you just build it yourself if you want to. So you don't need to know about a specific one provided by the platform if you don't need to. Something that I also found, you just made me think about something, is people don't know how to use some of the SDK documentation. So I just wanted to show you this. So if we search for, let's say, the widget class, right, which is fundamentally the base type, you can see in here all the implementers. That is all the widgets that implement this. So if we were to choose one of these, like stateless widget, and we could read up about stateless widget, of course. But if we go scroll all the way down to implementers, here are all the stateless widgets. So you can go see, oh, here are all the widgets that do this, and you get something catches your eye. Oh, what's a tab, right? Then you go read up about tab and what widgets contribute to building tabs. So a lot of the time you can just like do a you can just do a text search, in the API docs and find the widget that you're looking for. But equally, you can go into the documentation and actually start going through and working out which widget is which, as it were. There's also, if I go back, you have the render object widget, which is widgets that actually render something to the screen. Here's sort of the basis. I don't think we have many leaf render objects anymore. Yeah, error widget, performance overlay, raw image, texture. widget to render box, single child. Let's go with that. There you go. And again, knowing all the different widgets that actually fundamentally base something else, and going down that tree. So, what are the stateful widgets that are in the framework? And you should be able to, if I skip all this, there you go. Here are all the stateless widgets that are built into the framework. So, there's ways of tackling this that is not just like, what's the huge widget list? There is also a widget catalog on the documentation.
And if you're new to Flutter, I would really recommend checking out the Widgets of the Week's videos too. That you can see them in some of these documentation too.
There's a playlist on the YouTube channel.
And they're very short videos, but you instantly learn when you need to use that widget.
No, Randall, it would take 5.
There's also Decoding Flutter, which is another great series of videos on the official Flutter YouTube channel as well. All right. Yeah.
All righty. Let's see. Where were we? I don't even know.
We don't get some live coding in this, so we should start plowing through some of these questions.
Actually, I don't. This is out of our scope. Way out of our scope. Someone wants to do image segmentation using TensorFlow, but they don't understand TensorFlow. We're here for Flutter. I'm sorry.
Hang on. There is lots of great documentation on TensorFlow online. You can go read up on that. Yes. I think you need to understand the concepts behind TensorFlow first before you can go into any specifics. So go look up your basic concepts of using image recognition or some of the other basic models, and then you can look at your image segmentation.
Alrighty.
All right. And I'm at a point I'm gonna have to run.
Okay. Yep, I'm going to be not far behind you. Not far behind you.
Everybody, see you next week.
See you soon.
It's coming.
My app needs to have a lot of Google ads. On iOS, it's working perfectly, but on Android, I sometimes have infinity load, usually after the 4th ad in a list. I'm using Keep Alive and List and Banners. My first thought on that is if I see that many ads, I usually uninstall. I don't know why you need that many ads.
Fair cop, yes.
I would. Well, I can't see. I mean, honestly, I would go. First of all, what ad plugin are you using? Are you using an official one, right? Are you using some third-party thing? That might be something to think about. They want ads to work, so you can go raise a bug issue with them with example. So make yourself a little example, raise a bug issue on the I can't remember the name of the package, but the official ad package, there is one. And then they can address it, because obviously it's not supposed to do this, right? It may be related to your Keep Alive, in which case you can change your Keep Alive flag and deal with that differently, so that if it goes off the screen. What you probably want to do is turn off Keep Alive on the adverts. I wouldn't Keep Alive platform views like that, and because especially the browsers, you made 4 browser instances, it ends up having quite a weight. Instead, what you can do is increase the cache size of your the cache extent of your scrolling view, and in doing so, you can make sure that if it goes off the screen by a small portion, when it comes back on the screen, it's still there because it's still part of the cache region, right? So essentially, it's not just the viewable region, but the extra region above and below the screen. Let's say if it's vertical, and that's just a way of keeping those ads around. But yeah, if the ad goes off the screen, comes back on the screen, you probably need to load a new one, right?
I'd like to point out something too. This is the difference between this show and Stack Overflow, because on Stack Overflow, you say something like this, and somebody says, "Well, don't do that." It's like, you don't know my use case. Don't tell me to not do what I'm asking a question about. See, in our case, I'm like, word of warning, if I see that many ads, I'm going to uninstall. And then we tell you how to do it anyway. So you still
on
get
Stack Overflow, this would probably be closed as too vague.
Yeah, that too.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm hoping the suggestions can point you in the right direction to what you're looking for. But the end of the day is also,
at least you'll get an answer. We might disagree with what you want to do, but we'll get you an answer.
The other thing, as Scott mentioned, you want to be careful you don't piss off your users, because you do that, you're going to get uninstalls. It's that simple. People go find Yeah, but people just there's so many apps out there. People would probably just go find an alternative to your app or something else, or just go, I can't be bothered with this, and remove it. Right? It should ads should be subtle enough to present to the user, but not get in their way. Right?
Yep. It's one of the reasons you see a lot of games that offer you double coins if you'll watch the ad, but they don't shove it down your throat. All right.
Or they do both. They both shove it down your throat, and you also have to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Here's a two-parter. Is there any way to render widgets via a string? Which sounds very weird, but I think I got it here. They have a few widgets which are stored in gists, and they want to pull those in at runtime. They've already got code as a responsive via GitHub UI. I'm not familiar with that, but the rest of this is
I'm gonna
something.
So the answer is yes. I've done it, and I've got code up for it, and in my gist somewhere. I'll dig it out in a minute if you want. The answer is, but why?
Well, the other thing that I'm noticing too is.
Hold on. The point I'm trying to make here is you're probably doing it wrong, right? Like that's the phrase here, right? Like you need to think about what you're actually trying to achieve here. Because if you're just trying to run some random code that that you're putting down off GitHub, that's dark code and doing all this kind of it's like, but why, right? What are you fundamentally actually trying to achieve? Server-side rendering? Are you trying to achieve a specific thing? Are you trying to configure it remotely? What are you trying to achieve by doing this? Other than the specifics of I want to interpret a string as widgets and then render those widgets on the screen, because you can do that.
And I already answered this in the chat. Have pointed this person to RFW, the project.
Yeah,
because that's related to this. It's probably close to
my
what
question
wants
about
to
that
achieve.
though is this is almost like when the stores complain about changing the code on the user after it's up on the store, because if you start pulling in widgets and code from outside, are the stores going to complain about that because you could be pulling in unsafe code?
Well, no, because this is the thing, like you're not putting in compiling code inside the app, right? The app, this is the difference between these things. The app already knows, like for example, so I lost the chat here. The example here that's on screen, container. Your app already knows how to create a container, what a container is. It's always shipped inside the app, right? But if you're just trying
not on screen, not on screen.
Well, yeah, it's on screen. What do you mean?
It's not on any screen that I'm seeing on the live stream.
Something R container like this.
Yeah.
Oh! In the text, I was looking for a big web page, as you often show.
No, and now there's an interesting clarifying question. There's what if there were? What if you made a collection of widgets in the app, right? They were compiled, and then at runtime you go out to another file somewhere that tells you which ones to display.
And then you call it RFW. That's done. That's what's already there.
That is server-side rendering, right? The idea is the server gives you the configuration of how to display things on the screen. You display them in that way. But the app has always known
components in the app.
Yes. Yep. But there is a second point to this, right? Which is server-side rendering can also happen another way. So think what was that? The Google, goodness, what's it called? What's the Google Stadia? Right. The idea is that the GPUs are not in the goggles, right? They're not in your or on your device. It's on a remote server, and they're outputting you a video. The same as like maybe what's the PlayStation thing we can play at home? I don't have it. I don't use it, but yeah, you can stream. You can start your PlayStation at home and stream the video output of your PlayStation to like your mobile phone or something, right? And like. That's still essentially server-side rendering, but now it's truly rendered remotely, and you're seeing it.
That's not what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is like it. Go ahead.
I'm trying to explain the two difference between the 2 points. That's
okay.
So what I'm trying to get is if your app has the content or the code already shipped in it to render those things, then you're not going against any of the policies that the Play Store and the Apple App Store have around that, right? I'm going to bring up some code and show people that it's actually working in practice in just a second. I'm going to update the code because it's ancient.
All right.
Flutter
anyway,
1.
This is actually like required and non-nullable and everything.
Will that even run anymore?
I want to step out of sequence for just a quick second. There are 2 questions that are related. How would one go about building an offline first desktop app, as in the best local database and remote database to use? And also any pointers to resources on this would be appreciated. And a follow-up question. Why is there so little resource for Flutter desktop unless I'm bad at searching? Well, they make this thing called Google. No. There's also a website called Let Me Google That For You. But anyway.
There's tons of resources on Flutter desktop. So I think you are.
And the other thing too, though, a lot
Dominic
of
has a really good talk about this.
Doesn't even it's not really all that different. Other than you've got to work harder at responsive design.
I mean, I was gonna say this great talk. She said Dominic's did a talk. Was that at FlutterCon?
I think he has done it on several conferences, but it's not for desktop. But I think the desktop part is not the hard part here.
So as Scott just said, you just compile your app. You just create an app in Flutter. You compile it for desktop. Boom, you're done. Right?
Yeah.
You have to. So you're required to use Flutter Doctor to make sure you've got the requirements for whatever desktop platform you need. So like Visual Studio Code for Windows.
Now, I have heard people making the point that it's more difficult to get things to integrate with, like databases, other things that are offline reaching out.
Nope.
Kind of similar issues to web, but not as bad. That's what I've seen.
I disagree. I think it's just people are not experienced with doing that. Right? They expect it all just to be handed to them. So anyway, as it best local DB and remote DB to use, also any pointers to resources that would be so the best local DB is ISAR, ISAR. Go check out that. Do you want to bring up do you have the package at all to hand? Anyone? Let me see if I can bring it up here on the stream. Bear with me. There you go. So ISO database, it crosses all of the, just to be clear, this uses the fundamental underneath is LMDB, which is a very well tested, known system, very performant, which means we get, you get ACID semantic static typing. Here, look, iOS, Android, desktop, full text search, all the lovely things, and this is really simple to use. I won't go into
what page are you looking at? Because I'm looking at isar.dev, and that's not it.
No, this is the isar pub package, pub.dev.
There is also isar.dev.
Yeah, which is the documentation and everything else. So there's tons of stuff. But anyway, so this will give you examples. But yeah, I mean, here's an example of the performance. That's why I like it. Which is one of the reasons why I like it so much. It's very high performing compared to competitors and very reasonable in database size compared to competitors.
For offline online syncing, though, I've come across this new project, powersync.com. I haven't deployed it in a real project yet, but it uses a local SQLite and then synchronization protocols and then Supabase in the back. So it's an interesting mix. And so it works fully offline.
See, that would be great for this. ISAR, if someone come up with like an ISAR sync to Supabase, that'd be awesome. All right.
Okay.
Well, this gives you SQLite.
And with that,
more complete.
I'm going to have to run. I've got pretty much a 90-minute hard stop today. It's better than an hour though. So you all have fun. Write some code. Try to make the stream less than 4 hours. We are charged by the minute.
Yeah. Right.
All right. You all take it easy, and I will catch you next week.
See you later.
See you, Scott. I'll do the questions from here out. So ready for the next question, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can.
Oh, well.
Sorry, bear with me. 630.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get this up on the stream.
I'm still hearing windy sounds. That's weird. I wonder who's generating that.
Hang on. Is it still there? I have to mute my mic? No?
I think we muted
went
at the
away
same
when
time.
you muted.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's there back again.
Right. Great. Here, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's gone, right?
Is that gone?
It's definitely
It's definitely from you. It's not that annoying though. It's very, very.
You got some windiness going on there.
It's not windiness. It's probably
you're huffing and puffing.
It's probably my machine. My machine's cocked up because I'm sharing a 4K screen and a bunch of other things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's going.
We'll blame that.
Ah.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
Right. Let's see if I can. Should we get this? Should we jump on some coding as we do this? How many more questions? Okay, we'll stop questions here.
We've got 6. Yep. So, and I've already cut people off. So
okay, good. All right, so let's go through these questions, and now I'll jump back over to the one about server-side rendering because I think people find it interesting.
Okay, so any tips on how to warm up shaders in a Flutter web app? I have simple animations that look a little janky the first time they run. Isn't it sort of do that automatically now with Impeller?
No. No.
Okay.
Web doesn't use Impeller. Web has its own
rendering engine. Flutter Web, right.
And also, web shaders are controlled by the browser. So, good luck with that.
Set the if you're building for mobile phones, set it to Canvas Kit when you're building instead of auto. That usually makes it a little bit better. Otherwise, it uses the HTML render.
I'm just trying to work out I think I'd be interested to know what specifically has been janky the first time. It could just be that you're just maxing out the JavaScript thread for the time like the app starts up, so therefore it starts a bit janky and then smooths out. I mean, there's a bunch of other reasons for that. Use the performance tooling to check down performance, but I'll go look at performance and see what it is. But also raise if you can make a replication steps for it specifically, see if it is animation related or something. Raise an issue ticket on the Flutter repo. They want to resolve it.
Okay, let's try this. Have you all seen and experimented with the native assets feature where one can add native code as assets to a Dart application library? I haven't played with it yet.
Oh, that was the link he sent in our chat yesterday.
Yes. So what Rena's talking about is there's a new native assets feature of Flutter that's been worked on by the team. Hang on, not Flutter. Here. Let me share this with everyone if this comes up. This is the one. So the JNI, F5Gen, and so on and so forth have this new native asset CLI, native toolchain, and builder. And from my understanding about this, is it lets you basically ship your your outputs that you would use for JNI, F5, and all these other things, your native assets, in with your Dart app. And that's the general gist of it. But I've not tried it out yet. I've been browsing around it though.
Beware, there's a bug that's been reported that if you're misconfigured when you invoke their tool, it will delete your entire project. Because the first thing it does is clean out its directory, and apparently that's defaulting to Dot.
Whoops.
So be careful. It's a bug. I just saw the bug go by a couple days ago in some sort of forum that I pay attention to, one of the various Slacks or whatever. So just watch out. Be careful. It's configured just like they tell you to. So watch out for that.
The native assets thing, the way you do this before this native assets, by the way, if anyone wants to do it right now, is you can just put your shipped binaries in your lib folder, and then there's a resolve. Is it isolib.resolve URI? I have to look it up now. There's a resolve path function which will actually give you a file, essentially like a handleback that you can actually read, and it will read from the asset shipped inside your app. But you have to put it inside the lib directory. It's not the same as Flutter assets, which is processed differently. In this way, you can do this in any Dart project. It's not limited. It's the same as a good example is the same as like Java's way of doing resources. They're kind of bundled inside the actual jar itself.
Oh, all right. Next one. Any experience or advice for doing in-app purchases to work cross-platform, like buy on iOS and make the item available under Android and web?
Yes, I have. There you go. I mean, you've said, does anyone have any advice for doing it? Use the in-app purchase package. You need to do stuff server-side, right? It's not just all inside the app. That's the other thing to mention here, right? Because it works by the security triangle, right? So you've got like essentially you've got the code that's running the client you do not control, right? Even though you built the app, they could be calling, someone else could be calling your API. You just don't know, right? Like this is unsecure, fundamentally unsecure. Code running on your server, which is considered secure because you own that hardware it's running on, right? And then you have the third party, in this case, Google or iOS. So the way it works is that they might interact with the app to say, okay, this person's made a purchase. It goes to their backend infrastructure, and then that backend infrastructure tells your back infrastructure and that user made a purchase. You don't rely on the app reporting that it made a purchase to your API, because now someone can fake making purchases, right? It doesn't work that way. It has to come from the server side, from notification of a purchase. So be careful, is all I'm trying to say. It is complicated. First of all purchases, all money transfers, any of that kind of stuff is really complicated. Just letting you know up front. And in-app purchases, I just add a level of complexity to it. So be careful. And also, you're dealing with people's money, right? So you need to make sure that you have every use case in effect that you need to think about. Also, in-app purchases, when you use the in-app purchase package, it's called in_app_purchase, I think. When you use that package, there's a parameter called user ID. Always pass the user ID, because otherwise what happens is if someone can log out and log into a different account, well, then the app's going to think, or the system's going to think that the new user that logged in has also made that purchase already with the same subscription or something, right? Because the operating system doesn't discern between different users in your app. You have to tell the operating system this is a different user, or this purchase was by a different user. Otherwise, it will just think it's all the same person.
Inside of the Casual Games Toolkit, there is a code lab for doing in-app purchases.
Oh, nice.
I haven't tried out the code lab, but it will probably be quite a good starting point if you haven't done it before.
Cool.
I sent the link in the private chat there. If you can share it.
That is going into the public chat as we speak.
Yeah, I don't have enough powers to put it there.
We do.
There you go.
We do.
Yes, of course.
For those that don't know, just to be clear, if you're posting links in a chat, no one will see them. No, your messages don't come through. So don't post links.
Right. We had a
Saves us from a lot of
confusion about that
spammers.
earlier today already. So yeah, it's a little crazy. We can post them because we got powers, but you guys, we don't even see that it got deleted. So it really just doesn't even show up for us at all. How about this next one here? An extra with a complex data type, scroll controller value notifier provided without a codec. Consider providing a codec to prevent extra being dropped during serialize, I'm guessing, Asian.
Hey mate, go router. Yeah. An extra with complex data type, blah 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 blah, is provided without a codec. Without a type. Is that?
I think it's trying to talk about how it can't make a URL out of something that it doesn't have a way to convert to and from an extra.
What is the question? Sorry, is this a two-part?
I think this is just an error message from GoRouter, right? It's no question.
Yeah,
it's just
like
an error message.
Yeah. So Google that, and it will give you solutions.
Hey mate. During serialize, it got cut off. So unless you can give. I was going to say, it sounds to me like it's trying. So codec is just the idea of a codec in a lot of the Flutter stuff, and Dart.
And Roberto, I think your first part got cut off in that you probably had a URL in there, because I only saw this when I was going through. So maybe you can ask it all again.
Yeah. Repost exactly what you mean, but this is.
He's following up here. Oops, nope, sorry. What is it? Oh, stupid scroller. There we go. It's a new thing in GoRouter. I haven't found any solution for it when I Google. Well, yeah, that's the problem with GoRouter. It's GoRouter of the week should be a video series.
Oh, don't. It's nice that they're working on it, though. I'll be honest with you.
It's good that they're working on it, but it's like, can we have like a stable API at some point here?
I mean, I think basically it's saying it can't serialize and deserialize it, from my understanding of the error message at least. And you probably need to register a codec or something that with GoRouter, so it can understand how to serialize and deserialize the extra. But which GoRouter package, which version of GoRouter is this? Because I'm looking at the latest one and I've got no reference to it. So I'm kind of curious.
GoRouter of the week. That's what he's using. All right. Come back next week. Maybe we'll have an answer. We don't know. Let's go on to the next one here. Flutter WebView in a separate route. Any idea how we reduce the initial load time? Could that be loaded in a separate isolate or offstage widget of some sort to preload the route and the WebView?
Flutter WebView in a separate route. Any ideas how it could reduce the load time? Could that be loaded in a separate offstage widget? Interesting. I mean, have you actually tried loading a normal WebView widget of like 0 in size to see if it actually it should just share the same cache, by the way, just to let you know. The apps is an app side web cache, right? So your app has its own cache. So if you load a WebView on one screen, it will be the same content reused on the second screen. If you load another WebView, right, it will reuse the same files and the same in-memory cache content, right? This is how Android and iOS work. So just loading a WebView, that's not visible would start caching information in it.
You could like dirtily have everything in a stack too, that you just like flip around.
Yeah, you want to be careful. You don't start too many of these things off, right? That's not, don't just start like 100 things in the stack and go, "Why is my app so sluggish? Why is my battery gone?" Why
is my battery gone? Yes.
You just watch your battery.
I always like to tell the people that want to run something every 30 seconds in their background, and I'm going, that'd be the first app I would delete. I would just see my battery go 60, 50, 40. No. You do not want to run something every second or every minute even. That's just too often, you guys.
They're getting stricter with that on
you'll get cut out, which is the big thing. There are ways of not doing that. Yes. Anything else on that one, or do you want to just move on?
What was
No. Yes.
Oh, that was it. So earlier on, we spoke about the root isolate token and background messenger. You should efficiently be able to use the background messenger and spin up the WebView in the background isolate. So you can do that. I don't know what applicability that would have though, because it literally would have zero performance gains from the Flutter side. So all of the loading that takes place from WebView is happening on the native side in its own thread anyway. So it's not actually delaying your Dart or Flutter app at all. What's going to happen? The delay in your Dart Flutter app would only be on serialization, deserialization of commands back and forth, and that's very infrequent because the actual head that is the screen output of the platform view is done as a texture and done straight to the GPU. So you should have very little in terms of just load it as like a 0 or 1 by 1 pixel widget, and it'll start pre-caching everything.
I've had people ask this similar question or a question similar to this a lot of the times in the chats. And imagine this scenario: you want a web view on a web page that takes 5 seconds to first paint. And you are on a page and you're going to be going to this other route that'll need that text when you get there. And you know that, and you have some advanced notice that you're about to go to this next page. it would be nice to say, go preload yourself and get to that 5 seconds already committed somewhere.
So
I think that's what this is.
Yeah, it is that. And but the point here is, like normal apps, you should be doing that in your app right now for images. For example, if you go to a screen, it's the first time Flutter loads the image. It has to load it and then display it. So you might get like a flicker from like an icon appearing. I showed this in the Wow Shopping app. And you just preload the images. There's like a function in a global function. I think it's preload image actually. Preload something. Preload image. I think it's called in Flutter, which lets you just do that. It will load it and put it in memory cache, ready for when you want to use it. And the same goes for this, right? You know, if, for example, regarding the web view, if it needs to be a fixed size, let's say for CSS to load properly, make the web view that large, and then you can actually make a custom view at the top that clips it, right? That makes it like 0, 0 in size. So the view itself believes it's a fixed size, but then it actually hides it. I mean, you can just
it's what I did.
But you're saying it's particularly a web view. So I'm really like, let's make sure we're clear about this. Are you running Flutter web? Or are you actually trying to load a web view in a normal web page? You're trying to preload? What you actually?
It said web view, so it sounded like it had like a Flutter app.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a normal Android or iOS app with a web view on a screen within it.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
But yeah, if you've got a follow up for that, that's
no, that's it there. Let's go on here. Let's do this one. Another one from Roberto. Super.key is recommended but when a widget's private, the linter gets mad. Yes, I could turn it off to the linter. I think that's probably an error in the lint then. If the normal case,
you never use it. No, it's because you can never use the key parameter. So the error he's getting, if it's private and he's not using the key parameter, it's going to warn him, you've got an unused parameter, you should delete it. That's perfectly viable. Look, if you want to delete the key parameter, delete the key parameter. The key's there for when you need it, right? And if you've got private, if it's private and can't be constructed elsewhere, then you're not using it, then you don't need it.
Yeah, but what if you have to have it in there for if you need it later? I guess if you need it later and you call the key, it'll say, "Oh, I got to add this again." Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, I see this a lot. Like I think there's this like phase that developers go through, right? Which is like you go for a phase as a developer, which is like providing all of the possible options and combinations for your code, making sure it's really like flexible and non-specific. Because at the very beginning, you're very much hard code and like make everything a big ball, right? Like everything calls everything else, and your code is a mess, right? Then you start going to this realm of, oh no, if I make it like really flexible and easy to change, that those are refactoring, but that's equally now you've got lots of code you need to maintain. That's never used. It's like the same as having interfaces for every single class when you never actually needed that interface in the first place because you only have one instantiation of that, one class is that of that underlying interface. So the point here is I was trying to make was you end up as going ahead of that and going, okay, simplify, only code what you need to code, and just make sure that your interactions between your code are clean. That's what you need to concentrate on. What was that last question? I can't remember now. But
it was about super.key in a private.
That was it. Yeah. Class. The point here is if it says delete the parameter because you're not using it, delete the parameter because you're not using it, right? You can then add the parameter if you need it, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Good plan. All right. That was the last question. So we're ready for some live coding. And Lucas, if you want to stick around. That way you can answer some of the questions, or if you have to go, you can go.
I'm gonna go.
We have 2 GDEs now.
Super hungry.
Yes. And what you said earlier, where you said now they're going to pull your GDE if you're on here answering bad questions.
Yeah, exactly. So I better get out before I've said anything.
If that was true, I would have been pulled months ago. So I don't think there's any fear of that. Nobody watches this show anyway, so it's all okay.
Yeah, who's here? No one's here.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to head off. But remember, everyone, join the Game Jam if you missed the start of the show.
Yep. Rewind.
Have a good one. It was fun to be here.
See you later.
Bye, Lucas. Somebody's going to push him out. There we go. All righty. So what are we coding?
So so first of all, we have some previous requests that we're going to kind of get to something on that. But before we get to the previous request, I want to give this expander a go, server-side rendering. So let me take me.
Okay. Now Simon won't be able to hear me for a second until he switches.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Oh! I thought I was going to say he won't know that I just said no.
All right, let's give this a go. Let's see if we can give this a go. Yeah.
My plan is foiled. I could have taken this over.
Secret squirrel. Right. Let's see now.
And no, train of thought. What I was saying earlier was a joke. Come on.
What was that?
Nobody watches this show. I said nobody watches this show, and he's like, "Yeah, we're here." Yeah, we watch.
No one watches this. Who needs to watch this? We know nothing. Advice is terrible. Don't. What does it say? Do as I say, not as I do, or something. I don't know.
Don't even do it as I say. Just do something other than what I say. Not as I do, for sure.
All right. Let's see how we go with this. So
yeah.
How about there? Cool. Okay, so I pulled out my old code. So basically what we've got here is some XML, as you can see, which is tantamount to a Flutter layout, right? Look at that. Ooh. Scaffold with an app bar, with, I don't know, icon buttons and a list view and size box and all this sort of fun stuff, right? Look at that. Looks lovely, right? Can we take that and build a Flutter screen from it? The answer is yes, in very few lines of code. However, this code is, this code is only 200 lines. But we're going to need to do some work on this because I've not touched this in kajillion years. So we're going to quickly port this from whatever old version of Flutter it was and see what we can do. So looks like originally I was passing XML data in, and I think, so this tries to load it from a bundle. Oh, look.
This is how our ratings are so high. Look at that.
Neve is paying for their pets throughout the week at their office. Oh, yeah.
That's why we get hours.
Yeah. More views. Come, more views. We need more views.
More views. It's fine. We can do it.
It counts. Now you get to see how crappy my old code was. Oop. What on earth does that go in? Just trying to press the build. Right.
Yep.
Okay. So let's continue here.
Super key. Don't you have a hot fix?
Here's a question: do you put your key at the beginning or at the end?
Oh,
Dun dun dun.
I don't know.
Dun 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 dun. Wow.
Still see a lot of red.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Won't take long.
Seeing red.
Won't take long. Let's tidy this up as we go. So, so this would be, so we've got this inflator from XML data. Okay, and then we've got a version of the future inflator, which actually takes an asset. Gotcha. So this kind of gives us the option of either or. That was nice of me. Let's turn off that debug banner. It's going to annoy me. And all right, so basically you can pass an asset in, and it uses a future builder. Look at that! Oh, look at that error! New error right there.
I have a video about that.
I know. Look at that! See, this is how you make errors. So let's say future.
I'll paste the URL for my video in the chat just in case somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about. This is my famous future builder, use it correctly video.
All right, so there we go. So there's that. So this is, so again, people think that, what's this? Still better most of our code. So interesting enough, people don't think that widgets have to come from the UI. Widgets are just configuration. Remember that. So widgets can come from anywhere. Background ISIS doesn't matter. it should just work, right? Like they're just widgets, they're just configurations. So it's not until they're actually implemented by the platform that it makes the elements which are part of the UI thread and then the render objects as well. So, all right. So now we get to use require data. Has error, we show an error widget. Otherwise, we're still loading, so it shows a blank box. And maybe we'll show, instead of that, we'll show a circular progress indicator. That sounds like a good idea. What else do we have? So when we inflate,
circular progress indicator dot adaptive. That's the new cool.
Let's take that out here. Oops, fingers. All right. Cool. This creates an XML expander and does some visitor stuff, which apparently doesn't work anymore. So I suspect this was an old version of the XML package, and they've changed it. So let's have a quick look and see if we can figure out what's going on. Huh. Pass isn't defined. Dun dun dun. Let's see what's going on.
Oh man.
Pass XML anymore?
First it's thick.
Okay. Like that. Okay. That makes sense, I guess.
They'll have XML dot. Oh, did you import it with XML?
Okay. Well,
I guess you did. Yeah.
How'd you visit it? Yeah, but I think that the API has changed, so it's that old. Yeah. I've got the latest version of the package now on this project. Okay, so that's that. Oh, sorry.
Why don't you just require a really old version? Oh, because then you'll have null safety problems.
Yeah, but I'm just like, how do you actually make with XML visitor? But that's a mixin with no imp out. Has visitor needs to be using an XML. Don't give me circular dependencies. That's not fun. Okay.
There are no circles in XML.
Let's go see. Has visitor.
You can't have circles.
Okay, so normalizer, writer, visitor. Visit node. Node is accept, which is a visitor. Okay, gotcha. So every node can be visitable. So we create a visitor, and then we're saying we basically need to tell it to visit. So visit. Interesting. There's no return type on visit anymore.
So you have to have a side effect to get your result, right?
Yeah, so it means that we're going to have to we'll create an instance of the expander.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what's going on here. Okay, so let's do this. So we'll say we'll create our expander. Tell it to visit our parser. Oh, this is not the parser now. This is a document. And then from the expander, we need to be able to get our result, right? So this is like result. Okay.
No pressure at all. No pressure at all to type correctly.
It's fine. So the question here is, I guess we're going to figure out how to port the visitor then. So that seems to be correct. Give me that. Oh my goodness. Right. Oh, that's fine. Is that literally what's complaining about in all of these? Probably.
You're always so brave to be doing all this live coding.
Am I?
Yes, so many things could go wrong.
So yeah, but that's the fun of it, right? That's
true. And we also don't have a hard out, either of us, and that can lead to all sorts of.
So,
we're still here 4 hours later.
Oh, I hope not.
I almost got this working. There's something I'm not getting about this particular paragraph of code.
So that's obviously the problem there.
There's that comment from earlier.
So,
yeah, Simon GPT. Yeah, he's currently coding.
Right. My line length is 2. I can't wait. Do you know what I really want? I want them to start doing the things like this. You know, where you can put like.
Oh yeah.
So nice. Soon TM. Can't come soon enough. That's a feature that I wanted since day one. Right.
Yep.
So if you look at this, we have text, column, row, card, size box, center, container. This definitely doesn't have all of the widgets that I need. So that's going to.
Oh yeah, we might as well stick within the Google environment for your Simon GPT. It should be Simon Bard.
Single where or null.
Simon Llama. Simon Llama.
Can we not do that?
Not llama. What's the palm? Sorry. Oh man, I got the wrong group. Llama is the meta thing. It's hard to keep track of all these players now.
Yeah, single word null. Okay. Don't know why the import didn't line up, but okay. All right, what's next? This is pretty basic, but it'll get there for an example. All right, now we just need to update our visitor. So this is like a standard pattern that you'd normally see in when dealing with XML. I just need to figure out how we're going to make this do what we want it to do. Since apparently we can't return stuff, we don't have a return type or something. I don't know. We're going to figure this out. So visit document, yeah, void. So this must have had like an R return type, and it's decided not to do that, which is super annoying now. But okay, we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So visit widget.
So it means you have to build your own tree and hand it back.
Okay, so visitable has been changed for has visitor, right? No. Accept. Bear with. What was this first one then? Oh, darn. I need to. Do I need to dig out that old code? I can dig out the old code. Just closed it all off. Bear with, everyone. Let's go get the original. If I start making changes.
Package is doing everything in place because of void. I think Simon already figured that out.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just trying to figure out how to. Now it's the responsibility of the visitors to create their own data structure out in space somewhere that persists between the calls of the individual visitor thing. Instead of before, it created a sort of return tree, which is mostly what you wanted to have happen from here. So
yeah.
Weird.
So it looks like visit was just calling accept. Accept doesn't return a value either.
I wonder if Lucas Rangley, the guy that does XML package, I wonder if he put change notes in the change log about how to migrate stuff. Let me look at the package. Maybe I can figure it out for you.
No, I mean, if it did, it would probably have been ancient history by now.
Yeah, but it might still be
It's fine.
change
Well,
it.
you should search visitor. No. It's all right. It won't take too long.
Okay.
Right. So look here. What we got? Again, nullability. Nullability. Right. Attributes. So saying that attributes. Names. Oh, no, that's okay. That should be fine. Okay. Again, expect visit to return a value. I mean, it is serialized. I mean, I could just make a stack of each return, and then each time.
Seems like you have to do a lot of extra hard work by not having a visitor return something that can be aggregated in the next visitor.
Oh, the other option is I go find whatever version of XML I don't want to be stuck on porting this, to be honest, but equally, I do want to port it.
What was in your pub spec lock for that? Maybe you can.
That's what I'm just about to try and dig out here. Wow.
Okay.
325.
Yeah, that's not gonna fly.
We're on 630. I don't even think that would even compile. Should we try it? Should we just see what happens?
Oh, it's not gonna get
No,
yeah,
way out of spec.
Yeah.
Way out of spec.
Right. Null safety.
We're just going to port it. That's fine.
0.5 of Dart.
Let's see where we get to here.
Yeah.
All right, let's try and work out what the hell I was even trying to do in this original stuff. So the general premise is that you would register widgets and their constructors, right? And there'll be 3 types of widget constructor that you can register. A multi-child one, which would have children, a single one, which would have 1 child, and then a leaf node, which has no children, right? And as you can see here, we've got like single child, single. We've got multiple ones for the row and column, and then we've got text node, which is a leaf node. So this represents all of those different types, right? What we could do, actually, just looking at this, is have I want to do this. I could do this. No, I'm not going to do that. There's some other right. So anyway, so now we have this registry. The idea being that when we visit an element, we then look up the element's name in the registry, and then we can then pass out the attributes into a. Okay, so what we're doing here, we're passing the attributes into a map with the generalized idea that in doing so, we can get we can get the values from it. So XML attribute has what? It has a string value, so we don't need to do that. So name and value. And now I guess there was no direct idea of what it is on. So we shouldn't need to visit it anymore. So a direct replacement looks to be possible. And since they're not nullable anymore, we don't have to do that. So wait, hang on a minute. I'm visiting it to do what? Oh, there's a visit attribute, is there? Hang on. XML node, so an attribute is visitable. And then the end result, okay, so here's the thing, that visit attribute, why does it have dynamic and it's not a problem? Am I missing something? Am I missing the fact that we could like, surely that doesn't work. If that works, this is going to be a complete hack, but we're going to try something here.
Okay.
What happens if we put like, we'll leave that one because that's this, but let's put, let's override visit. What was visit, was it? Yeah, visit. And make its return type dynamic. This is terrible. I want to know what happened.
Cheating. That's cheating.
It's cheating, he says. You can't do that. So
super visit.
Right. So if we do this, does that?
No.
I think it does because
that's just crazy.
Because
that's crazy, man.
Can't do that. You're cheating.
You're wired. You're wiring up.
Hang on.
She'll do 0.5 past light speed.
Let's see what happens.
Made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Let's see what we can do here. Set. Oh. Now what? Iterable map. Yeah, because we can return null, right? If we get null back, we return null. Otherwise, we want to wrap it. So let's flip this around a little bit here.
You can probably finally use list comprehensions just like normal people.
Well, I don't think we do. Okay.
I'm getting so tired of typing .map anymore now. It's like now I just put the embedded fors and ifs and stuff. It works a whole lot easier. Provided you're starting from data and not starting from a stream or something.
Yeah, this is super annoying. Are we bored yet, everyone? Right. What's it saying?
No, we got some people here. Nobody seems to be dropping off. There might be their cat might be watching at this point, but at least they're online. Cat, you sit here. I'm going to get food.
All right. Texts. Okay. Use value to access textual content of this node or inner text to access textual content of all its descendants.
I don't want descendants.
Well, I think we were doing this with text before, so I guess we'll use value. Like that. All right. Let's keep going.
Getting closer. I see it.
Don't worry about that. List of dynamic. This is the annoying thing. Right.
Everybody has a cat. It's /bin/cat. Everybody has a cat.
Yeah, so this is I guess this is a bit dodgy because I mean we don't need that. I guess it's good practice. All right, what else do we want here? Attributes. What's they complaining about? Because it's yes, that would be a problem.
What is the attribute?
Because of this. This is super annoying.
What is where type?
I'm trying to remember. Yeah. I mean, like I've used it for. The problem is I've got multiple types coming back at this. I could guess object, which means it doesn't match null anymore. But now we're
object question. Make it really crazy.
Oh no! I said what I'm talking about. I could do where type string. That's what I want.
Oh God.
Right.
Oh.
What? That works.
Yeah, I get it. Oh man. Oh, one less red. You're making progress.
Well,
maybe.
What's the problem here?
So there might be null, probably.
Oh yeah, because we don't actually have a nullable child option on our widget, but we should. So yeah, I guess. Okay.
Oh, we're going to return null. Yeah, let's get there.
Now what?
Less red.
Come on. There we go. Here it is, bracket. Okay, and then we've got returning null from this, so this can return a widget or null. Have we just cheated with that? I feel like we have. But
that is bizarre. I totally get it, but it's like, wow, that's weird.
Now, why is this saying? So visit takes a has visitor, and I swear that's what I put in there earlier, and it was like new, because okay, we don't need that, right? Okay, that works. So, but this might.
I don't see any red. You got rid of all the red. How did you do that? Lots of hard work.
Lots of hard work, exactly.
Yep.
Or lots of cheating, one of the two.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So
it compiles. Ship it.
I don't think this is gonna work first off, but we're gonna try it.
Yep.
So I guess we'll just hit run and see what happens. I don't know.
If it blows up.
I have a feeling that you know, in our example, we've got a bunch of other tags in here which I don't have in the code. So I think maybe there was another example. No, I may have made changes. Let's have it whilst that's compiling. I'm going to see if I can find the old code here. I'm sure it's called interface expander. Yes, it was. And what did I register in the old one? Text, column card, row size, padding, container scaffold. Yeah. Okay. So this this contains more widgets. So this is going to probably, yeah, throw an error, but that's fine. So let's see. So we got what ones were we looking at? Oops, too far. So we've got text. Sorry for skipping around here. Right. Text, column, row, card, sized box, center, padding. Let's grab padding. And container, scaffold, app bar, icon bar. There you go. By the way, this code will be posted online after this, and then you can grab it if you want it.
I told my mom about having to look at the clock on my computer to figure out that last week was the day, given that it was my birthday. I should have known that without looking. So she's told that story to all of her friends up in the retirement home. It's pretty funny.
Right. The argument type. Okay, let me type. It's because it's nullable.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that obviously that wasn't a problem passing null at that point. It must have been optional, and then when we went to null safety, it was removed. You forget these things. I tell you, it was so long ago.
Yeah, null safety, wasn't that back in the 90s or something? I mean, it was a while ago, wasn't it?
When I was a young Flutter developer.
When I was a kid, we only had null.
All right.
We had to have it make do. And by the way, the rest of the day for my birthday went really well. Thank you for everybody for asking. Hung out with my friends.
Okay, visit document. We already have a problem because apparently it didn't even return one widget. It returned more than one widget? Question mark. So we did visit before, which does accept. So, okay, so we should be able to actually do. That's a good point. Actually, we never actually set the result, do we anymore? We need to get rid of that result. Oops. And put this back to how we originally had it, which was this, right? Yeah. I think document is the top level. I mean, at least I'm hoping so. Let's try that again. Run. Okay. Time to start debugging, I think. Do we want to do this? Is everyone interested in this?
I still got people watching, so nobody's
Okay,
dropping off.
so
I think everybody wants to either see you totally succeed or totally fail. So
I know that they
there's a
want
lot
me
of
to
money on this game. There's a lot of money on this game. There's
Right.
some high stakes here.
Do you know what I think another thing was, would that inflate been in the layout before was actually helpful because it would rebuild each time. We could do a hot reload. Actually, we could do. Just do this on reassemble. If people don't know, this is how you solve this. So there's a reassemble.
Avengers reassemble.
So if you do a hot reload now, it will. Yeah, so we do a hot reload, it tries again, which is really helpful. Now we're printing out each of the different things as we go through them.
And it's walking. It's walking something.
Aha. Layout. Okay. So that's good. So it's definitely walking through the tree. So and it's loading the tree. So that's a good starting point. So this does visit widget, which visits the node of the document children. Okay. And then optionally, this would output error widget if it throws. Again, I'm not seeing like an awful lot of issues here. So let's keep going. So oops. Okay. So it actually got to a point and then it bailed. So is that because, well, let's go figure out what that is. Size box height 20. Did something go wrong? It's very weird.
Failed assertion.
Right, so where do we get to? So it so we've got cross axis, then size box, then our row got to this container and didn't go any further. But that could also just be, no, it's correct. No, it's the deepest. It's the deepest. That's all that is.
Yeah, it's having trouble coming back from down deep.
So look here. What we got? Visit, where type, visit element. Okay, hang on a minute. The actual error that's getting is actually a assertion that we've got. Let's see what we're actually getting back here. That would be the ideal. Empty.
That's no good.
So that's good. So we're saying visit. We're saying, oh, is this the void? Is this because even though I put dynamic, it compiles, but actually it can't return a value?
Can it just not change the signature that much, maybe?
I mean, I'm trying to understand why we wouldn't be seeing, because I mean, looking at this, look, children is, I mean, let's make it nullable. Let's see what we get out of this. Whatever. Just fell upwards. Thank you. Null, null, null. 3 nulls. Okay. Let's follow that back. So we're saying that visit widget is returning null. Is it? So let's go to visit and okay, visit runs except. So that's suggesting that our is this actually working? Do we not get to visit element? No, we did. Oh, it just does want to print out an identity for a function. All right. So if floatable does not equal null, i.e. we found one, then it goes through all of this and wonder if it's not matching the. Oh, you know what it is? I think I know what it is. It's not matching the interface because this isn't nullable. And I've had to put dynamic in here. I haven't gone in and changed it. That's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Child, blah, 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 blah. Children. All right. I think it's going to give us something. It's no. Do we have something further? So let's see. Where do we get to? So we're definitely visiting each element. We could just put a breakpoint in, can't we? Just step through it. Are we running it in debug? Can we be bothered? So we're not getting to print out our debug print here for invalid element, which probably means we're actually getting here and saying, let's do, this is really hacky. Print debugging. Yeah.
Add print until it works.
Right. Okay.
My debugging style of Perl code that I was doing. I never used the Perl debugger. I just used print.
Whatever. Okay. This is interesting. I'm not going to. Oh, look. I'm an idiot.
Okay. How so?
Okay. So it's not. So the top level element is called layout.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That is like a top level widget in here. And of course, it can't find it in the list of things to inflate, so it doesn't do anything. I think previously it would still visit the children, but visit element has to call visit children. So this needs to return super.visit element for it to visit into the child nodes. And because we need to still visit all the children, basically, and it's not doing that. So that would then return a list. The question is, how is that even? I guess it was just passing differently before. As I say, how was it working before? So we're getting back. Okay, so it's not even traversing into here. So there's two children inside, and it's not traversing into here. I'm guessing because visit element. No, wait, it was doing that, right? Because we were getting visit element being called. Hang on. Let's do this and just make sure.
Nowhere else to go.
Right. do we get it visiting each one of these elements is the question. And if we do, so visit element layout, and then it just bails. If I was to tell it to visit the children, let's just have it called super visit element on itself. Just see if it, what do we call it? Node? No, element. Because the default implementation is blank. So no matter what we do, we're going to have it. How the hell did this? I feel like I missed something on before. Hang on.
Okay.
Find layout.
Just use me as your rubber duck to talk out loud. Maybe I'll just go,
Right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go find the old code. Did I have it up somewhere? I did. Here it is. I wonder if this... No. I have no idea how this was working before then. It must have just been passing. It must have been just passing differently. As we know that it was having a way of returning values, right? So, all right. So what we know that we need to do is, in this case, this would be returning back particularly a list of widgets, and we return back the first one. Why do I have a feeling?
Should you be starting at the XML node that's already the scaffold?
No, it's this. It's this. I think we're not visiting if we visit the children of the top node rather than the document. Wait, that's what this is supposed to be doing, isn't it? Hang on. Where's that XML file? I mean, there's two ways we can deal with this. One is you can just do this and get rid of that and problem solved, right?
Right.
That works.
In theory.
Will that reload the asset? Yeah, so now look, visiting element scaffold, mapping, visiting attributes. Yes, now it's processing it. Null is not a subtype of preferred size widget. That is exactly what I want to see. So, make these nullable because they're all optional parameters, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. As double, maybe. Just don't know. Could be.
All right. Restart. What have we got to now? Failed assertion. This is why I have them. Length is 4. Length should be 1. Visit document. Yeah, so that's fine now because the is it? Wait, no. If I do where type, I think that should work. Hey, look. Oh, we have a wet screen.
We have widgets. We have
Have a widget.
How will that work for one widget?
Let's see. Where do we get to now?
Now just recurse. That's it.
Well, it should be recursing already, but it's not, obviously. So let's figure out why not.
Okay.
So visit widget. Let's see. Print. No, it's just a base type, isn't it? Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. So that is actually. Oh, that's interesting. Hang a minute. Visit widget. This one. So this is actually printing off everything inside it, which is not helpful. I wonder if we can say if is a XML element then node name otherwise. Node as a string or something. I don't know. Otherwise node. Right, let's try that again. That's a little bit better. Right, so it visits the scaffold. We get the attribute printed out. Widget blank. Widget blank custom. So, that's right. Yeah, custom. And we have an app bar body. But what we're expecting to do is for app bar to traverse inside, right? And it doesn't. So why does it not? So the attribute app bar is still an element, but what it can't do is find a match for it. There must have been some magical way that I thought this was working at some, I guess at some point, because I feel like this. Oh, because it's getting local name. Hang on a minute. Not the. Hang on.
There must have been some magic in that old tin tip hat top hat they found. You can't get a copyright strike for singing it incorrectly, right?
Hope not. All right. Let's see. Where are we going?
Thumpity thump thump thumpity thump thump.
Yeah. So this one visits as app bar. Lowercase app bar specifically, which is not the same as an app bar widget. So what's actually happening here is it visits a widget, it says, I don't know what this is, and then just returns null. Which is this kind of default behavior we have down here. So what's actually happening is we're actually getting these invalid widgets being printed off, right? So what we actually need to do, we're back to that saying we should be visiting the children.
It's good to visit children.
I think I'm going to say visit children. If element children is 1, visit that and then return the value. And that kind of solves this. It's a bit dodgy, but it'll do the job. If element elements child elements. If you've never dealt with XML, be glad.
Be very, very happy. I think we brought this up on the show before, but I had a client where the XML was encoded in a second XML layer. Everything was double encoded. It was just a nightmare.
Oh, yes.
And it was a company that acquired a different company, and each company had their own people still. And one was responsible for the upper layer, one was responsible for the lower layer. And getting anything to work right was just a mess.
What do you mean?
Oh, you gotta ask Jeremy that. That's not our area. We don't understand that layer. What? Oh, and both layers had their own idea of sessions.
Of course.
It was amazing. I was back in my Perl career, not this stuff.
Okay.
I haven't dealt with that recently, thank God.
That's helpful, I guess.
You're getting better errors. This is good.
I guess. Let's do that. And visit element. What we got? Children's empty is not true.
I'm so happy that XML is not significantly factor into a typical Flutter application.
Because this is... Hang a minute. Oh, this is why I hate XML. Like, okay, multiple children is in a text, and children, that's fine. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, well, it's nice it's not crashing, but equally, it's not what we want.
You have successfully steered it away from the parts that are crashing, but not towards the parts that are doing something useful.
Okay, so Why are we getting these printed off still?
Oh yeah, RDF also something really horrible.
Because child owners is not one, I guess.
And XSLT is also XML inside XML. Those were fun. I remember those days.
Okay, so it's not the body itself then. Hang on. So what we're saying is app bar has one child here. Body has multiple children. So we can't even do that. All right, so this has to be able to return. You know what?
I'm listening.
Wow. Am I looking at scaffold from way back when? Where body was like a list of objects.
Oh no, really?
Well, I'm trying to look at how this is meant to be. Like, this just doesn't make body. It's either body is a widget. It's just, I'm looking at the XML going, this doesn't make sense because, here, body is a list view with a container or whatever else. I think that was maybe wrong. Let's just go. Can we restart?
It'd be funny if that's what it was.
Okay. Oh, no, we're getting there. Look, invalid radix number. That's good.
Bad hex.
All right. So, but that's fine. So we want to say value dot substring 2. Oh, come on. I felt we're very close to what we want now. String is not a double. This is correct. Oh my gosh. Double dot. I forget like how this stuff used to be. I tell you, this is like honestly, you forget. Like this is nuts. Like, wow. Not when things were nullable, things were just different.
Yep.
Wow. Just wow.
I miss those days of nullability. No, I don't.
I was gonna say, but what
better today. It's better today. Yeah.
All right. So, are we saying that this has to be?
And I'm definitely not giving up Dart 3. Dart 3 is nice. Pattern matching is cool. We're getting inline classes very soon.
Because you can't be nullable.
Then maybe macros.
I was saying it's not null. Oh, what am I doing? It's all your fault.
Oh. 9. I'm not a backseat driver. I'm just looking out the window. I don't care. I'm just looking at the pretty scenery going by.
Right. So again, let's grab that. So what we got in terms of parameters? Okay, so we're okay on these. Color. I guess we're passing color out. Yeah. Padding. Don't we know? Are we not passing out these things? Oh, look, double dot pass. I already am. So width and height should already be that. So what is the problem here? Have I just fixed something the wrong way? Probably. String. Attributes width. So for some reason, the attributes being passed over into the registry function has not gone through visit attribute because visit attribute is not being called by this. So we know these are attributes. Let's call visit attribute. All right. I need to undo stuff, don't I? Probably. Oh. Wow. Wow, there's lots of shit. Oh, pardon my French. Okay, again, color. String is not that color, but I thought that was one of those ones that's been passed correctly. So one can only assume that attributes in a text, attributes from entries visit attribute. Is it a local name doesn't match? Let's put breakpoint. I mean, this would be so much easier with breakpoints. Let's just run it in debug now. I'm getting.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing at the state of the application. Yeah, no. Okay, well, that's good. Node name local ATTR. Cool. Local color. So we should end up going into the. Okay, good. Okay. How is attributes? I'm an idiot. There we go. Damn it. All right.
Compared to who?
Right, let's try that again. This is probably going to solve all the problems. Solve all my problems, please.
Yes.
Why you not solve my problems?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Wow.
What did I do?
You got a lot of text there.
Top down. String is not type. All right, is this old? Let's clear that off. Restart. Let's see what we get.
Still barking somewhere.
Oh my goodness! Right, where did we get to? Where was? Oh my goodness! Right, go to the top. Right, make our way down. Double. It's not typed. Yeah, no, this is correct now because it's already a double, and that was me doing it twice, and that's why I was a bit confused. But okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Double, double, blah blah blah. This is already a double. Try again. Okay. Well, we got a lot of print statements, but nothing on the screen. So that's good and bad. Let's go take a look at where were we?
Returning anything?
Our expander. Visit doc. I guess we'll say result. And we can peek at that. And then we'll also we're definitely calling visit widget quite a few times. So we could just look at the output of this.
I've run out of tea. We're gonna have to finish eventually here.
Okay. Okay. But that's good. Scaffold made a scaffold, container made a container, center made a center. Look, with all the right parameters, that's good. That's exactly what we want. So why did this fail? Oh, failed an assertion. So how many children did we have? Children length 0.
That's not good.
Well, it may be because we might be filtering it out in some fashion. That's the one that's got me worried. Null. Scaffold, and then we end up with null on the back end. So okay, null is not a widget. This is correct. Null is not a widget. So our initial visit is returning null. Let's follow this down from the top end. And we'll step into it and see where it takes us. Right, where's our step into? This one. All right. Here we go. Except on a node which does visit document. This is good. Let's go into the here. And on its children does visit return. Whoops, too far. Here we go. Visit widget. And on node. This is how you should be debugging. Okay.
Right.
Okay, this is interesting because it's treating the we call visit widget. I know what's going wrong. Do we want that? Yeah, continue. So continue, just go away. Stop bugging me. Right. Okay. This is a quick fix. I'm sure of it. Where is it? So let me briefly explain what's going wrong here. When we visit the element, when we do visit widget on all the elements inside a document, we're actually visiting all the types of element, not so in XML, there's a lot of different types of elements. So we want to say we only care about the elements that are tag elements. If that makes any sense. So that should mean that if I put a breakpoint here, our first, let's run it again. XML has its place. It's definitely not everywhere, but this is exactly what it's used for, markup, right?
Yep.
This is a good use of it. Right, continue. Yeah, okay, are we ready? Let's continue. Get rid of that, continue. Okay. Interesting. Okay, let's continue again. So, okay, now at least we're on a scaffold here, but it is saying that we're returning back again the wrong thing. So let's go back to our visit document and see what we get at the end of it. Hot reload. Okay, what is children? Null. Well, that's interesting. So what? Scaffold return null? That doesn't make any sense, does it? We don't filter out the type on the back end, fine, which means there would be 0, which means the element that we visited was scaffold because that's what we got in our visit element. So let's put a breakpoint here. Continue. Come on. And then hot reload, and we'll just step through this a little bit more. So here we are on visit So we're going to visit document that visited the visited the widget. This is visiting with a node of scaffold. Guess what? I'm an idiot.
You don't
Do
return
you see
anything.
the problem with the code that's right in front of us? I forgot to do return result.
Oh, baby.
There we go.
Man.
That'll be it. That'll be why it's not returning anything. All right.
See what a little work with the debugger.
Are we finally there? Are we going to be finally there? Right. Restart. Okay.
We're somewhere.
We're definitely further because we have no crashes and no walks, but not where I want to be. All right, so now let's put our things back on, and then let's see what result we get. I guess let's hot reload. Okay, so children 0. We should now have scaffold. Okay,
Ooh.
cool. Where type? Let's just put this in there.
Ship it. Ship it.
And then, so scaffold has what? Let's go look. See if it matches up with our XML, shall we? All right. So we have a scaffold. Ignore custom.
Body, no. It's not good.
Test. That's correct, right? Because we're not using those parameters. But what I care about is children or body. Sorry. So where is? Oh, look, body null at bar null. Dun dun dun. All right. So that's the problem there. So that's good though, because it means we got blank scaffold and we know where the problem is. So
no,
I think it was this. I think it was my treatment of these special magical attributes, which is the problem. So for some reason, I feel like this is actually missing some code, right? So when we visit those particular elements, so we're going to visit. Let's have a look here. So this is, let's say this is scaffold. Let's get rid of that. So we visit the scaffold and we then visit each of the children. And then basically, if any of those this really needs to be a map. And then if any of those child widgets are attributes, then we can pass them over as attributes to the constructor. Yeah, that makes sense. So what we're missing here is a way of extracting these two things. Yeah.
What's funny is how did it work before then?
It did. I think this might have been like specifically the way that the old XML parser worked in populating things.
Okay.
But look again there, and this will be code that can be used in the future. We'll put it in. I'll show it for everyone.
Sure.
All right. So what we want to do is say, I guess what we can actually do here is say, do this slightly differently and say final children equals widget this, and then for final child in element children.
I'm gonna pop out for a second and refill my tea here.
If child dot name child is so we want to get the prefix section. If the prefix section is equal to attribute, then we're going to dump that in our attributes, the result of this in our attributes under the name, the local name. Else children add visit. Well, might as well do the filtering at the top level here and say else. I guess we're going to visit this either way, so let's do it here. Else if results are null. This is what we do here. Sorry, everyone, just do this quickly. Oops. Cool. Just refactor this slightly. Get to the point. Okay.
Okay, I'm good for another 2 hours now.
Okay, let's take a look at scaffold. Body is body. App bar is an app bar.
Wow. Oh, I missed
Hey,
it
look.
too. How did you do that? Whoa. Whoa.
Look at that.
That's awesome. From XML to widgets.
From XML to widgets in very few lines of code. Right, let's tie
Carefully
this up.
selected lines of code.
No, this is still workable.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
Right.
You're on fire.
So
yes.
let's do a little bit of tidy up. So I just did this basically when you're away. So this for loop here. So we filter based on XML elements. We try and fetch each one as a widget. If we get null back, ignore it. Otherwise, if the original attribute we're passing has a attribute prefix, and we put in attributes instead of its children.
Okay.
And that's it, really. It's as simple as it gets.
Cool.
Let's get rid of that.
Bravo.
I'm wondering actually right now if is this actually being print test. Yeah.
Test.
There is reasons for it then. All right. Just kind of curious. Yeah, and then this is. Oh, that's interesting. Padding. Yeah, that's another one of mine. So let's just do padding here. There we go. Got proper padding now. What else was missing? Text align. Attribute. Oh, look, flutter.io. Oh, that's funny. Sorry.
This is ancient. Back when I was initially a GDE, that's the site we had to refer people to.
Ah. Right, that was me adding a namespace specifically for. Okay, yeah. That was one. Okay. All right. And then finally, text align. Let me just do that briefly, and then where are we? The same thing for this. Okay, so
I don't think this is going to be a threat to Maui yet.
Yeah, I was going to say not that. However, now let's have a look at this. So if I'm in here in the layout file, and I say let's change, where's that red container? 80 by 40. That's the black one, right? Yeah. So let's change that black one to RGB, right? So whoops. There you go. Look, I just hit save. Change the blue.
Wow.
Love it. And then let's change the height. Let's make it 200 high, 2,000, whatever.
2,000.
Like
yes.
400 high, 4,000 high.
And that's overflow it. And that's working.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say.
Look,
I just want to find XML and Bosch. There it is. You know, like.
But that's being changed because you did the reassemble. Was that why you're able to do that?
Yeah.
The reload. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
So interesting enough, I don't think things are actually displaying correctly. Let's have a quick look. So looking at this, like text align, start, center, end, right? So with the column on the outside being set to cross-axis stretch, we should be seeing 1 on the left, center in the 2 on the middle, and 3 on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Should we figure out what's going wrong there? Let's have a quick look. Was that my text line? Oh, look, there's the problem right there. E.name. I forgot we actually get proper names for enums now.
Yeah.
Oh my
great.
goodness me. Oh
That's
my
great. God. Oh.
Is there even more two strings in here than anywhere else?
How to revive 4-year-old code.
How do we deal without these things? Blimey. Right. Okay. That's better. Now we've got a vertical alignment set correctly, so that's good. Let's. Yeah, hang on. Let me just make sure our I don't know what the. What we're doing.
That's a good point about Maui not supporting web, because this would actually doing it this way. Interesting.
Okay, cool. So now we shouldn't get any more weird error output. Cool. Okay, so let's go look at the layout that it's made. How's that, the inspector? And have a look. So text direction null. Well, that'd be why text align isn't working. So what went wrong? Oh, you know why? We don't. Hey, mate, is it the text? No, wait, that's a good point. Oh, where did we put the text align? Was it on text? Oh, it was. Look, we don't process it. That's why it's not there, because we're not actually using it.
So just to bring it up to speed for anybody who might be still wandering here, effectively what you've had to do is recognize an XML payload that has particular attributes, and then you map that item by item to an actual construction of a widget. And so you have to have specific map this thing in the XML to this thing in the widget all the time. And so you have to do that explicitly for everything that's on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just summarizing in case anybody was wondering. Yeah. It's not for you. You already know this.
I forgot. Yeah. Oh.
Every once in a while I'm answering questions online, and I'll answer it in a way that it's obvious to a lot of people that are sort of onlookers what I'm saying. But I've said I'm not answering this for you guys. I'm answering this for the person who asked the question, who needs to know. So, yeah.
So we could actually also. Do you know what? Now I'm going to do this. Look, check this out. Let's do this. This is better. Why?
Oh, no.
What? Give me a color. Cyan. I don't know. Magenta.
Blue.
Right. Let's see if we can do this. So if I go into here,
you got to see if it's a string, do one thing. Oh no!
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god!
Well, that's the correct way, right? So we can just say
pattern match it.
So if let's get the node value.
Say do a switch on node value, then you can do pattern match.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead.
Can we pattern match on like a substring though?
With a when, yeah. So you can start with string and then do a when the string contains X or whatever.
Do you know what? You know what?
Yeah. Okay.
I can't be bothered with that right now. This is going to be if node value starts with 0x. Then
we're resurrecting this from 4 years ago. There's no point in introducing even more advanced technology right now.
And then otherwise, we're going to say, let's see if it exists. If the node value exists in colors, isn't there like a value? No, it's not color. Damn it. Material colors? No. This is going to bug the hell out of me now.
Yeah, how do you switch from a string to a name? That's tricky.
Oh, no, there's in there, but I'm trying to remember where. I swear there was like material color or colors.
Are you sure it's not just all props? I think it's all just props.
Oh, you mean like there's no
stringy map that you can use.
There is a map. There is a color map in the HTML package, I believe. Should we have a look? I have a really distinct feeling that this has a mapping for it. Well, it has to, right? Because to support HTML, if I remember rightly. I seem to remember this has. Let's do white. This is color. Damn it! I know there was one. The one time I want it without having to write it up. I mean,
dear Bard, in Flutter, I have a color in a string. How do I convert it to a actual color? What does Bard say?
I mean, it's just a map. But what I mean, I'm pretty sure there's one built into Flutter, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, I'm looking. It says, oh yeah, Bard's useless on this. Darn it. It says, well, if you have a string that has red, why don't you just use FF0000? No, that's not how to do that.
Yeah. All right, I can get rid of that. That's fine. Bear with.
Bard,
what I'm just going to do is I'll put some colors in. I'll just do a quick mapping, and then and then that just as a good test of support.
All right, we're starting the 4th hour now. So
yeah, no, this is. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. This took a bit longer than I was expecting. You actually have a list backlog of things that people suggested. Oh well. Hopefully, people found this interesting.
We still got people watching. We got people chatting, so things are still
good. Right,
things are still kicking.
So we'll look this up in here. We'll say we'll just say return colors. Right. Cool. Icons. And then colors. What colors do we want? What did I put in there? Here it was white, cyan, magenta. Why not?
If only we had macros.
I thought magenta was in the normal set.
Should be.
Oh, they call it purple, don't they?
Okay.
Ah, look, primaries. Hey man, do primaries have name? Do the primary? I feel like.
No, that's an enum.
No. No, because you can't get the symbol names, can you?
Nope.
But what I could do is just take all these, I guess, and go like this. Blue, grey. Right, whatever. And then pop them in like that.
Yep. And then do your magic editing.
Bam.
So cool.
And then
who needs macros? You've got a good text editor.
Right. All right. So okay. So let's choose. Was it purple and white? Do we put is white in there? Let's see, how can white and black not get in? send those. Indigo, oh, blue. You got orange, cyan, purple, pink. Let's go pink. There you go. Oh, well then there was cyan.
As long as it's not T-Mobile pink, we'll be okay.
Ooh, that's my bad. Okay. So look, color breakpoint.
Where are you using your map?
Right here, but only if it doesn't start with 0x. But let's have a look. So that's fine. That's a pass. Continue. We have a few colors that are X code still. Right. So color. Yeah, color equals white. This does this. Looks up our value. I guess return. And what is value? Is a color.
Yeah.
Of white. Okay, so it's putting in attributes. What's actually happening right now is, I guess I forgot. I did it again.
You're double parsing it.
No, I forgot to put it in the actual thing that we're actually building.
That's what I was thinking. Oh.
Right, try that again. Really? We put color on the. Yeah, it's on the text. Let's have a look. Really? I'll reload. Restart.
Reboot.
There we go. Am I just going to find out that it just needed a restart before it was going to do something I wanted? Yeah. Probably. Right. Text, hello, world, and then 1. Here we go. Color is a color.
Mm-hmm.
Hit continue, I guess. That's. There we go. All right. That background green needs to change, though.
Oh, yes.
What do we want? Let's choose one of the other colors, shall we? Should we choose like a light green? Let's use light green.
Oh, it worked.
You expect it not to work? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I'm just pleasantly amused. I'm playing along with you. I'm basically the Ed McMahon to Johnny Carson's main file there. Yes.
Okay. Change that.
Yes.
Yellow. Right there. And then I'll post this. I mean, it's not bad. It could be better, right? Like, sure. I mean, everything can be better, but what color is teal? Teal is 500.
I only know the 7 primary colors.
This one.
All those other colors are just made up anyway.
Exactly.
There's only 7 colors in the rainbow. That's the important ones.
Anyway, all right. Well, hopefully. Oh, I just realized our icon buttons are not there.
No. We're missing a whole class.
No, need to quickly fix that. Hang on. Turn that off.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I think I just forgot to put it in there. Did I not? Icon button.
Fix me somehow.
Leave that as a exercise for the
anybody who downloads it.
I don't know. icon. Oh, you know what? Is it because icon button?
How do you get from a string to an icon?
Let's print here. Inflatable incorrect for. I think I know what's going on here, but I just want to check. It's called element dot name. I'm hitting hot reload, and it's definitely not repassing it because well, it must be, but so hot restart. No, see, we're not getting any output, so it's not getting to that point. Let's put a breakpoint in. So let me show people actually how we deal with this. So if we put a breakpoint in here, I'll just show you how. I think people find this interesting. Okay, look, so we broke here on this line. Great, wonderful. We have a problem though, and that problem is I only want to break when there's an icon button. So you can do a conditional breakpoint. So in here you can write some Dart code. So we can actually put in here and say element.name.local equals, what was it? It was icon button. Right? Now, if I hit continue, well, there you go. That's interesting. We didn't actually get to them. Actions. You know why? Do I know why? Didn't we have this pass out this way? I think I know what's going wrong. Child elements is more than one, right? So visit widget is returning. Yeah, okay. So put it this way. If I get rid of these two, it's going to work. Yeah, hit my breakpoint, continue. Right. So I've probably broken something else with that, apparently. But let me put those back in there. Right. That's interesting. I didn't expect it to break, but okay. Yeah, so when I was passing this attribute piece, it's interesting because I don't know how that worked previously. I honestly don't. This actions, I'm looking at the previous code going, well, how did I pass out? Actually, it must have, the framework must have been specifically picking out that type of node because it's not in the old code. I'm looking and it's not there. Like, so anyway, the point here is passing this tag isn't just returning back one widget. It needs to return multiple widgets, which is fine. But what we need to do is, this is where this comes in. This now needs to be dynamic. Not nice, but and then in here we're actually we pass over each of the child elements and return them. So if there are no child elements, so if this is empty, then we'll return null. Else we will map each of the child elements and turn it to a list. So that's one thing that's going to improve. So now each of the icon buttons should be being returned. Apparently an error is taking place. So let's go up to the top. He says, let's try that again. There we go. List widget is not a subtype of widget, which is fine. Again, dynamic. And visit widget, where we're calling that. That's correct. This, if we know need to do is do a lot of things like if result is list, then list of widget. then we want to children add all else. If result is widget. Bit more cautious, where type. All right. Where else do we call visit widget? I think. That's fine. And this less than fine. Again, we need to let's see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we just got list dynamic is not a
as widget question somewhere, right? Or as list widget.
Yeah, it's basically what's happening right now is, let me go back to this, in fact, back to here. So this is a quick fix. We're returning back a list always from our, where the hell is it? Here. This is always returning back a list. When it's one item, we need to return one. So, widgets, say if widgets length is 1, return widget 0.
Flattening the list, yeah.
Okay.
Different errors.
Okay, list dynamic. Yeah, it's because this is, let's do where type widget. Yay!
Ooh. Yes.
And now we have all our buttons at the top here.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's awesome. Ship it.
That's
I
it.
like it.
That's your lot.
Yep.
That's your lot.
That's it.
Hopefully people find it interesting. Let's grab this and chuck it up on the GitHubs.
29th of November today. 1 week after my birthday.
How we did pretty well with this, right? How many lines?
I liked it. That was cool.
325. It's not too bad.
Yep.
All right, MIT licensed.
Mm-hmm.
Bosch. Let's call it. We call it expander or something. What do we actually? Inflator. Inflator. Let's rename this.
XML to widgets.
Right. Let's grab that. Shut that up on gists. So hopefully people found it interesting.
Yep.
I think you answered someone's question.
It's probably long gone now. Already switched to Python or something. Yes, out of here.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, that's hard work. I'm going to go use Python.
Switch to .NET, whatever, Maui. Yeah, there we go.
All right, XML file as well. And we'll call this...
so it's my
Humpday.
plan on being here next week, but I won't be here definitely the week after next because I will be in surgery. So, in fact, I'm running off to the doctor's office. They still need one more X-ray. They forgot to do it when I went in on a Monday. Stupid. So now I have to go back again to the office. That's what I'm doing immediately after this call, and then. Got some client work to do. Going to be doing that. That's nice. Could always use another client or two, though. So if you're out there and want expertise at some presentable level, please get a hold of me. There's lots of ways.
Right.
Also, I'm pimping. I've got a YouTube channel. I'll put the that in the chat. So please go subscribe and like and push buttons and stuff on there. Tell me what you want if there's more things. Try to get another show out today or tomorrow. I've got something else to do.
Okay. Widget flashed an example of possible server-side rendering. Humpday Q&A, 29th November 2023. Dart Flutter, link to the video, code, and XML all in one place. Pop that in the chat.
One-stop shopping.
Hopefully everyone sees that. I'll bring it up on stream for those that are.
I see it. I can OCR that on the screen. Actually, I can just cut and paste it from the chat.
What do we have in the chat? I've missed all the chat during that.
There wasn't a lot of stuff going on. It was just people making occasional comments. I probably brought you the best ones.
Cool.
People being really happy with what we're doing, which is all good. Yeah.
I love it. That's a good one, man. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. In 1999, I was not 5 years old. It's obviously somebody else. In 1999, I was 30, somewhere in there, 35.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
thank you for joining us, everyone. Come back next week for more crazy antics and Flutter Live coding.
I'll see you guys all next week again.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and all that YouTube stuff because it really does help us.
Push everything down around the edges.
Yeah, do one thing.
Wherever all the edges are.
What was the thing you say? Tell at least one more person about the stream.
Yeah.
And come along next week. Same time.
How much fun do we have doing this live? We should have more people here, not people watching it during the next week. Although if they're doing that and then having their cat watch it while they're at work, that's fine. It still counts as hours for us. Always good stuff.
And what we're going to do right after the stream, I'm going to schedule the next one. So that way you can share the link with anyone before next stream. And we'll see if we get some.
Wow.
Paper.
Cool. How revolutionary is that?
I know. Awesome. How would have thought? More than 1 hour's notice.
I know. So awesome.
Right.
Anyway.
Oh, he's back to say goodbye.
I'm back just in time to say goodbye. Yes.
Yeah. Oh. I thought you'd come in on it as muted like you often do. So, oh well. Anyway.
So we did hear you.
No, that was actually YouTube feedback.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't hear any of that. That's great. Anyway, all right, no worries. And thanks for coming, and we'll see you same time next week.
Bye. Goodbye. Yes, I'd like fries with that.
Ciao.